All right, we are live finally. Sorry, guys. We're just waiting for the guest of honor because Chewy. There we go.
Hey,
the multicolored Chewy.
Hey, Chewy.
Chewy is my favorite character.
Mine
like
too.
Bar none. I mean, of course I had the huge crush on Han growing up, like, most people who fancy dudes, and like I and Leia too, because I'm that way. But Chewie is like he is a walking symbol of loyalty and friendship, and I love him.
He's the best. So
Yeah.
A year ago today was when we were at Fan Expo Dallas.
Yep.
And
he
wore that shirt. I wore a different Chewbacca shirt because I have a lot of them.
Nice.
And it was right after Peter Mayhew died. And Peter Mayhew was supposed to make his appearance. Like, he was scheduled to be there. So at the con, in the place of his table where he was supposed to sit, they just had like a big old memorial with like a big old photo of him. They had like a book that people could sign, and it was just like, oh, this hurts my heart.
Okay, but yeah. All right, I'm okay. I'm not gonna cry on Neil's stream, damn it.
Oh, I will.
I'm a strong Southern woman. He already made me cry earlier. I'm not gonna do it now. In a good way. It was in a good way.
You gonna cry?
Yeah, maybe.
There's no crying in
baseball. Actually, that just killed it because I had two older brothers, so I heard that a lot.
Oh.
Usually while being like, stop hitting yourself or whatever. So.
Oh yeah. Or when they pin you down and then they do that drool thing and let it drip and then suck it back up.
Ugh, gross. Why are boys so gross? Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I love men. Boys are gross. To be clear.
It's like, for the heart.
Hey, I got all these free coffee sticker thingies all over the back of my phone. I should probably put them on the free coffee card.
Very cool. Yeah, you probably should.
Love it.
Okay, if I lean really close to the screen like this, it's because I'm myopic as heck. Rory, that's okay. I thought that was you. I wasn't certain.
There's kind of like a 4 or 5 second delay between StreamYard and YouTube for some reason. But never mind.
Yep.
This is true.
Yep, they do that so that if something happens on the stream, that you can eliminate it before it makes it to the rest of the world.
Oh, okay.
Which is smart.
So if I were...
You mean like if I had a wardrobe malfunction?
That is the reason why.
Yep.
That was specifically what it was made for, actually.
We could test that. If I were to pull a revolver on you,
well,
fuck no, I'm leaving that in.
Could it be cut out by the time it got to YouTube?
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, we're not in the same room, so I don't know that it would matter.
Yeah, I don't think we're on the same
continent.
Yeah. Okay.
Rory will literally be like, "Look at my gun."
Well, I know it's stereotypical for Southerners to have a lot of guns, and everyone in my family does, except me. Junk Shop and I are not into guns. We do have a lot of swords because we're nerds. So a lot of swords, a lot of knives.
That's why you do it. I like it.
Thank you.
Swords are cool.
Love it. So Nathaniel has been cataloging all of our Funko Pops.
We're missing some.
Somehow we are missing like some Yodas.
We are missing Christmas Yoda, or it actually is qualified as Holiday Yoda, as well as Holiday C3P Zero. It's not an O. It's a zero. I found that out today. We've been saying this wrong forever.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. It's R2.
I'm missing, sorry, R2D2, but I'm still going to bitch about C3P Zero.
No, I want to know that, but at the same time, I mean, like in English vernacular, like O and zero are kind of interchangeable. I mean, they shouldn't be because it's not as precise. But people will say
James
like
Bond 007. No, it's 007.
No, it's 007. Or like people will say like, Yeah, or they'll
No,
only say like my area code is 9901. Like we all say Neil the 604 atheist. We don't say the 604 atheist.
No, Julie's absolutely right because in Europe they put a line, don't they, through your 0 to make it a 0, but we don't in England, so it's quite often difficult to distinguish an O from a 0.
Yeah. However, to your point, I will say I did not know that until this moment. I literally thought it was a letter and not a number until this moment. So
it's when you get right. It's when you get your code wrong and you phone your bank and they ask you for your password and you say 0 instead of O and they say no, forget it. You know, we're going to cancel your credit card or whatever. You know.
Oh yeah, not good.
Well, I only figured it out because I was like Steve mentioned cataloging, and I interrupted your story. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
These things because I'm creating a bunch of display cases because we have. I'm sorry. I can hear Star Wars in the background.
Some odd pops.
100 and it's I don't know, it's over like $2,000 or something value, and I was doing the catalog because I got to put them in the right area, the right places, like by year and then by series and stuff. And I realized we're missing Yoda and R2 in the holiday versions, and I was like, man. And then I picked up C-3PO, and I realized in 0. C-3P 0.
That is shocking to me as well.
Literally had
even given the whole argument I just made about usage, I'm right there with you. I thought it was a letter and not a numeral until this moment. So.
I also we have one. Can you find that? There's one that has an error on the packaging.
Ooh, fun.
So yeah, because it's like it's from it's from Force Awakens, yeah, and it's like on there it has it's like the only one we have from Force Awakens.
So
go ahead.
Sorry, no, Jeff just showed up.
You can do it. You want to
does that error on the packaging make it more or less valuable?
It would make it more valuable. Yeah.
Really?
So this is the droid from Force Awakens, and on here it has ME809. Now the ME809. I love my eyes are green and the green screen keep catching him. Is actually a jet. The ME809. This droid's name is ME8D9.
Like Delta.
Yeah. So
never unpackage that.
Oh no, yeah.
So they're rare.
Yes.
They should be, assuming they caught their mistake and then fixed it, which they usually do. There will have been a limited release of the ones with the error, and then a huge glut of ones without the error. So that's why things like that.
Neil.
Yes.
Do you like Pink Floyd?
Do I like Pink Floyd?
Yeah,
I do.
All right, Rory, I'm kicking you out of the stream.
Oh my God!
Of course, I like Pink Floyd.
Oh, I
for a second I thought you were going to say you didn't.
So did I.
My fourth favorite band.
There we go.
Okay.
Now I have an original white vinyl album of Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, beautiful.
And they're pretty
nice.
Yeah, they're pretty rare.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Rory, I respect you, and I kind of
my drummer has
teeny
one
bit right now. Not. It'll pass. It'll pass.
No, thank you, Julie.
He collects vinyl though, my drummer, so he'll find that shit all over the place, and he's got about 30,000 albums actually. So
wow.
Yeah,
Neil, I made a huge mistake. I threw out most of my vinyl collection.
I know, me too.
When I moved house,
and a couple hundred.
Went in the skip.
And I treated mine like gold. I would take them home.
Yeah.
I would put a cassette tape in. I would play it, tape it, and then put the record away and just listen to the tape until I wore it out.
As a backup, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Neil, you have to open these first. Well, the first play off of an LP.
Without opening your beer.
I did, yes.
Done that.
Sharp like a marble. No, We used to do that because it was like the first play off of an LP is the most pristine analog recording you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah. But there's still that lovely, even if it's one that's been played a lot because you love it so much. Like, I have a distinct memory of when Junk Shop and I were dating, and he played a Marianne Faithfull album, and it's Broken English for the first, and I'd never heard of
good
her.
album.
Yeah,
Excellent
right?
album.
Right? And I'd never heard of her. I had no idea.
What?
I know.
No,
I
kicking
know.
you out
I
of-
was.
No, bye-bye. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry. I'm admitting that I was horrendously musically ignorant. I know this. But yeah, so he plays it,
Maya.
and the first bit I remember is that lovely, scratch of the needle on the, just as he set it very gently down on the record.
Yep.
And I'm like, I was instantly back to
Don't
like
use the word
1982. Right. It wasn't a scratch. It was, you know what I mean, though, the sound that happens right before the music
Pristine
started.
little crisp little.
Yeah. And I was like, I gotta lock this shit down. This guy's amazing. That was that. Anyway, sorry.
I love it.
Yeah.
First, Nathaniel's bubble.
Oh yeah, fucking Nathaniel swooning in the fucking chat here.
Kevin, you looked it up, right?
I did.
Yeah. I
They
did too.
never fixed it.
Not yet.
That's
Correct.
fair, but they've probably made hundreds of these things by this point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they may have.
And that's the
Only people
same.
get rid of it.
That's also the same with the Boba Fett, the first version of the Boba Fett that Neil didn't get, the one that with the rocket that actually shot.
Shot out, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember
They send
that.
it off for it.
Yeah, they had.
I thought it was worth like $50,000, something like that.
because they
Huge amounts.
They made a
They only
bunch of
made
them.
so many. They
Well,
only
they made
they only
those
made like
limited recall.
100 of them or something. Yeah. Then they said no, we got to pull those ones back. Mind
Yeah.
you, nobody gave them back. So they're all 100 of them that were released are still out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they released a new one right away. But the little red missile in the back didn't come out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I
got a
one of
Punisher
my
that you can put caps in and.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. One of my idiot brothers, I have two, and they're both, one's lovely, they're both idiots. They the lovely one found a Spider-Man.
Can you feel the love? Sorry.
We were in a fight recently over something stupid, and I'm still a little annoyed.
Aren't they all over stupid things?
Yes, they are. He thought Trump was right about something, and it just went into a thing. But anyway,
Okay,
the point is,
I'm all with you. I'm with you on
thank
that.
you. So the point is that at a yard sale, my older brother found a Spider-Man #1 in really good condition.
What?
Yeah, and he bought it and took it home, but he was like 13. He bought it for like 50 cents or something because it was this older lady who was just selling shit out of her, that, her kids had moved
How
away.
long ago was this?
This was in the early 80s. This was in the 80s.
Okay,
Um,
it hadn't reached the gold mine that it is yet.
No, it had not. But the problem is he didn't know that it would. Being a young kid, I mean, I was just as stupid when I was a teenager. This is not about him now. Like, this is about, being a dumb kid. But he just kind of tossed it in, no board, no plastic cover, nothing, with his other comics. And it disintegrated at some point. It was just toast. And it's the most painful thing. And he finds it that way too. He is just as pained by it. Because he also having.
I was looking through Facebook memories a while back. I think this was in like November or something.
Oh God, it made me cry. Okay, we're even.
He's just so like, oh no.
I'm so sorry, man. Like, it was rough. I'm so sorry. I know.
I had a chance to get one of the Rorschach Funko Pops back like 7 years ago, and those things are like
I did
$400
too.
or $500 now.
Yeah,
I did too, and I'd studied Watchmen in grad school, so I was just kind of like, I did a whole
Great
semester
series.
of Watchmen, and it's great. No, it is great. It's absolutely great. It's a great comic, and I loved it. But at the same time, I did like a whole graduate school semester on it. So like all the papers, the intense research, all
I
that.
would have done that.
No,
I
it was
would love
fun.
that.
Don't get me wrong. It was awesome. Oh, nice, Neil.
That's the best.
And I do have a cat. I don't anymore. She passed away. Anyway, I did have a cat who was named Bubastis from that series. So it's not that I didn't love it. It's just I was kind of over it in the moment when the Rorschach thing came out. And the store that Junk Shop worked at had them. I remember seeing them, but I was on like I was teaching, and I was making I was making so little money. I was working in a cafe and teaching and barely breaking $1,000 a month. So it was like, it was just rough. And I was like, I can't really spend money on this. It's frivolous.
Yeah, it's like I can't justify.
And now I'm like, yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still so brokenhearted that I didn't buy that.
Me too.
I love Watchmen.
Yeah.
I don't love Watchmen as much as I love Star Wars, and I love Watchmen, which just goes to show how much I love Star Wars.
Yeah, it does. No, I get it. I get it.
But like, I'm still regretting not getting that. Like, it was like $13, and now they're like $500. And I'm like, damn it! Why did I not get that?
I know, and I was like, and at the time I was like, oh, that's like lunch. And or 2 packs of cigarettes, which are bad for you. Don't do that. That's stupid. That's my just general disclaimer about being an idiot who's over 40 and still smokes cigarettes. Tobacco. I'm not talking about anyone else, just me.
And here I am smoking. Never mind. Talking about investments.
Oh, what's up, Boba?
Yeah, it's a bobblehead.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
And this is worth now, I think, $150.
Nice.
Plushie.
Oh, dude.
Well,
and this, you can't even find these.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
And the only Funko I have left, Edward
one.
Scissorhands.
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, I want that one. Neil, do you have everything just within reach of your desk? I think your desk is a D&D level bag of holding.
I'm sorry.
And everything is just there.
Did you say desk?
Your desk, where you're seated.
I'm sitting on my bed.
Okay, I'm sorry. Your bed area is like a D&D level bag of holding, and everything is right there. Because you reach for stuff in all of your streams, and I'm like, how the fuck did he know he would need that prop today? It's amazing.
I think we have that too, right?
Well,
which one?
We're kind of like that with ours too, because we have like the.
He was all sneaky about sending that.
Oh, he's trying to divert from us noticing that
he was.
We're gonna run out of tissue.
Hey babe, I'm gonna send Neil $10 just so you know.
He's like,
I didn't have to do that.
Boring.
I didn't even know
seriously, I mean, if you're talking about investment, buy crude oil right now.
I know.
No, I'm serious. I bought £1,000 worth of crude oil on an exchange traded commodity fund last week, and it's made £170.
Oh shit!
Nice. Rory is not wrong about this. It's crazy how I have not seen gas this cheap since before 9/11.
Yeah,
I'm in the industry. I mean, we collect waste oil and get it recycled, so
nice.
I know all about the money we're not making right now.
Yeah, but thank you for helping with that, because I feel guilty every time I drive my car.
Yeah, but Julie, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is at rock bottom, and it has to go up. It's got to go up to $20, $30 a barrel.
Yeah, it will.
As long as you can spare the money to invest, you're bound to make money.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, right now is the perfect time to do it.
Well, like millions of other Americans, I am furloughed at the moment. So we're okay. We're okay. I'm getting unemployment and all that good stuff, and we're fine. Sugar! It is Monday, and I do need to go re-up. I need to go check in with the unemployment office online before midnight. But it's all good. So we're okay. It's just
Yeah.
things are a little.
Good for
It's a
you.
little scary. But I do
Yeah,
have a.
qualify.
I
You
have a
do
going
qualify
back.
for
I
it.
do. I qualify, which is awesome, and I have a going back to work date of July 13th, which is terrifying, but also yay, because that paycheck is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't qualify, so
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so
because
sorry.
he didn't work enough last year.
yeah.
Oh
I didn't
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Slacker.
Junk Shop's in the same boat. No, he's in the
So-
same boat. Yeah.
Yep. So even though I'm furloughed and guaranteed, unemployment, I don't qualify for it. So fuck you, America.
Yeah, seriously, we need a better social
Fucking hate
safety
this
net. That is so
country.
fucked up.
See if you can trick Justin Trudeau into sending you $2,000. Of
I'm
course,
might.
he's
so
Canadian,
sorry.
so it might be like $5 US, but
It's a pretty good exchange rate right now. You're not Australia. Jeez.
that's true.
It's very true.
Well,
Sure, Darth Maul.
well, just because honestly, like, oh, what's that?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
2019.
that is
Darth Maul.
super cool.
Yeah.
Darth Maul okay. I hate Junk Shop and I agreed on our first date. This was one of the first things I asked him. I was like, okay, so Star Wars. We've been friends before, so we knew we were both into like science fiction and Star Wars. But we went on our first date, and I asked him. I was like, okay, so here's the thing. The prequels. And he went and he made a face, and I was like, that's what I was looking for. All right.
Yeah.
So in my universe, I just kind of pretend they don't exist, and he was like, mine too. And I was like, fantastic, this date can continue. So that was like one of the
I don't mind him.
first things.
I like.
I
all
don't
the
mind
movies except the third one.
I don't mind bits out of each one. Like there's that moment when Natalie Portman looks at the empty Senate hall and says, "This is how liberty dies." And that actually brought me to tears because she's such a great actress. But there was so much bullshit too that I'm just like, they couldn't have been separated at birth and had that amazing story at the end of Jedi when Leia is talking about how she remembers her real mother. How could she do that if she was a fucking infant and she died and her mother died in childbirth? Fuck you. Like that. I'm sorry. For all the critics.
It's plausible.
I feel very strongly about that.
See, it's funny, Kat, because I really like. I think of the prequels, I think Revenge of the Sith is my favorite one.
The only reason I don't like it is because I've seen it so many times and I know exactly what's gonna happen. So I just like get aggravated because I know how they could make it not happen. They
Yeah.
try the TV and they don't listen.
And also,
Why don't you just listen to me?
while we
Look,
were
choke your
waiting,
wife, stop.
while we were waiting for over 20 years for these new movies to come out, and remembering what Obi-Wan and Luke them talking about the Clone Wars like they were a big deal, and then it seems to happen in like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is not wars. This is like 3 battles. What
In
is
all
happening?
fairness,
Go
the TV
watch.
show.
Yeah,
is
go watch the
on,
TV show.
7 seasons.
That's
we
what
just
people
watched
are
the
telling
last
me.
episode
Yeah.
today, and it was rough. But I definitely recommend, Julie, for you guys to go watch all of the Clone Wars TV show. It's an animated show, but it's really good.
Yeah,
I
that's what
heard
I
that
haven't
it's very
watched. I've-
Go
I've
watch
watched
the
a little
entire
bit.
thing, and that is literally all of the Clone Wars. Like the last
Cool.
episode that came out today, which is the end of it. They're not making any more Clone Wars. So the last episode that came out today brings you right into episode 3.
Nice.
Like it's actually stuff that's happening in the background of episode 3.
Okay.
Last,
All right.
like,
Well,
2 or 3
that could be helpful. The whole reason I brought up that weird story about the Clone Wars and my marriage for some reason was because I wanted to say Darth Maul was
Your
a really
husband's a
cool
clone?
Sith. No. Darth Maul was a really cool Sith, and I thought he got killed off way too early.
Darth
I
I
Maul
agree.
was
has a bunch of cool
Yeah.
stuff later.
Said
Yeah,
My
it.
brother.
Accurate.
okay. I didn't know that. See,
Also,
Yes.
Yeah,
after
it's
Clone
good.
Wars,
Yeah.
watch Rebels, Star Wars Rebels.
I've
Yes.
heard Rebels is awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of further down in the timeline, but
Mhm.
there's some more cool stuff in that. So,
Well,
Okay,
Rebels is after Sith, but before Rogue One, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed Rogue One.
Rogue One
I
was
do.
good.
I really did. I cried. I've watched it twice, and I cry at the end every time. And I love that they didn't escape. I love that it was a tragedy.
Well, we all
Well,
knew
yeah.
that was coming.
Yeah, well,
Through the
but
Bothans that died for this information.
yes, many Bothans died to bring us this information, but at the same time, A, Disney had taken over, and B, we just didn't know because the sequels were
There
weird.
could have
The
just
prequels
always
rather
been
were
that
weird.
one that escaped that made
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad that they
so-
didn't go that way.
Me too.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, no, this is right. Like, I really wanted them to live because I cared, but at the same time, I was like, thank you for doing it right. Like, these
Right.
people gave their lives for a cause they believed in against an evil regime. That's fucking awesome, and
This
it
is
should be recognized.
An unpopular opinion, but I liked Solo.
Same.
Yeah, me too.
I
And
haven't
Woody
watched it
Harrelson
yet.
was awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
See, when I said just a minute ago that I loved all of them except for 3, I'm including all of them, including Solo, Rogue One, all of them that I have seen, which I'm fairly certain is all of them.
Okay. What
Solo is a fun adventure.
does this irritate anyone else, particularly those of us who, and no offense to anybody, but those of us who might be a little older, does it irritate you that you can't see the originals anymore the way they were cut originally without the
You have
weird
to
added
get-
bullshit?
You have to get the VHS version.
VHS and the remaster.
Yeah,
I
you
have
do.
the-
And
I have the unremastered Return of the Jedi VHS.
I had all three
know.
for a long time, but like VHS tapes, they eventually died, and now it's like I can't ever see. And the thing is, this was such a big part. This was a franchise that 3 generations of my family loved, and we don't agree on anything. I'm the only atheist. I'm the only liberal next to my aunt Janet. Janet's not an atheist, but she's a liberal. Like, literally, that's it. I mean, everybody else is super religious and super hardcore and super conservative. And
We haven't spoken since that tape died.
It's like,
Julie,
yeah.
Julie, do you remember laser discs?
Oh, yes, I do. I never owned any, but I do remember them.
I did. What a mistake! They were so expensive.
Oh, yeah. I
And
know.
It lasted for about 5 years or something. I mean, they were good at the time, but they were, huge.
They were huge for a minute.
And then
I mean, they still are huge, technically. They're laser.
Well, yes.
Yeah, they're enormous.
Just metrically, they're large.
But then no one made the players anymore.
I know. And the few people I know at this point in my life is no one, but I did know some folks who had Laserdisc players, and they will fight you on that shit. They're like, nope, better than DVDs, don't care, blah. And I'm like, is it just because you've invested all of this? And
Well, that point in my life, I decided I'm not going to be an early adopter anymore. That's it.
yeah, me too.
It's like, I'll wait until it catches on and get it then.
I learned that with Beta versus VHS.
Oh, Betamax, yeah.
Yeah, because Betamax was, I think, objectively better.
Yes, it
But
was. Yeah,
Much superior.
Yeah, but it's not what caught on.
And a little bit less known than Laserdisc is HD VHS.
Yep.
Oh, I remember that.
How do I not remember?
HD DVDs came out
it's
too,
just-
which were
Yeah, I remember
Wait a minute.
DVD.
Hang on, I might be thinking of something different. IQ, are you talking about like all the remastered old films and stuff?
No, I'm talking about like an
okay.
actual HD VHS tape, but it's formatted in HD.
Okay, no, I missed
Yeah.
that. That was probably during the broke ass college years, of which there were many. So. Yeah.
seen it, yeah. My buddy had a Laserdisc player.
I mean, I think it was in stunning, 720p, but actually it might have even been 720i, but nonetheless, it was a tape.
That would have been badass at the time, though.
Hmm?
Like, I mean, yeah.
Nope,
Oh,
rounded
okay.
up.
So really quickly, before Dave has to, before Dave, who the fuck am I talking about? Before Neil, sorry, I've been on streams all day, and Dave was there a lot. I apologize, Neil. I know who you are, and you're lovely, and I adore you.
Digging myself out of that one.
Really quickly, yeah, trying to dig myself out of that hole. Fuck it. Really quickly, I just wanted to say to Susan, so you work for Planned Parenthood. One of my best friends works for Planned Parenthood here in Memphis, we're now serving at least 3 states. We serve West Memphis, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee, and we've got exactly 2 clinics. We've got Choices of Memphis and Planned Parenthood, and they're both in the city of Memphis. So I just want to say thank you.
Skew, Julie.
It's like a Snapchat filter.
Oh, me?
Yeah, your video just went all skew. We can still hear you.
Oh, okay, as long as you can hear me, that's the important part. I just wanted to say that, like, thank you for what you're doing. I really appreciate it. And I mean, we literally
planning on having parents?
No.
Planning on what?
Fuck no. Like, Planned Parenthood is the reason I was able to get cheap birth control when I was in college and didn't have a job or insurance. You know, so they're the reason I never had to have an abortion.
I hear colloidal silver works.
Oh, fuck that shit. Oh my god. Oh, when you were talking about that, Susan, I was like, yep, I did that once. I was young in the 90s.
I hear apple cider. You rub a little apple cider vinegar in there, and you're all
yeah, drink some apple cider vinegar and get a whole cleanse.
She had an ozonator too, like something that would.
What are you talking about? Colloidal silver is great birth control. You'd start talking about it, and you don't get laid. Fair.
That's accurate. That's accurate.
That is accurate.
Very accurate.
I like that very much.
Can I ask Susan a question?
Sure.
I mean, what's happening? No, she's moving around at the moment. I mean, what's happening about Planned Parenthood during the lockdown?
So the ones in Texas, I know the most about the ones in Texas because that was the one that I worked for.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just did a video on this. Go ahead. Sorry.
So Texas had deemed any sort of surgery that had nothing to do with life-threatening conditions as non-essential, and they were including abortion, like surgical abortions, in that decree. So then later on, they decided, well, we're also going to deem that medical abortions, as in like mifepristone and mifepristol, those are going to be under the same umbrella. So we're going to say that those are unnecessary as well. So basically, even though
fine if women die, essentially.
Like they don't give a shit.
Well, but is it? How do they define? Is it essential surgery?
Essential means if the and this is always in the past, pre-Roe v. Wade, this was always legal in the U.S. If the pregnancy was a direct threat to the mother's life, they would perform the procedure. And now it's like if you catch it early enough, you can just take 2 pills or 1 pill even, and you're fine. It's not. It depends on if it's the morning after.
Mifepristol. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. You're right. He's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just So and then you only need the surgical procedure if you're like most women and didn't realize you were like 2 weeks late or whatever.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the timing. But the issue involved there is that the Texas governor was basically trying to use the pandemic as an excuse to make abortion illegal in Texas. And it happened to the point where we had, and this is on the Choices from Memphis website, so I'm not spilling any tea, and I'm certainly not saying any names or anything like that, but we had a young lady call Choices of Memphis in tears, desperate, because she lived in Texas right when she tried to go have the procedure done, she called and they were like, no, we can't right now. We're closed down. And so she drove from Texas to Memphis, Tennessee to have it done, which frankly, it's stressful enough. And also she was, by doing interstate travel, she was exposing herself to the virus way more than she should have had to. It's just, it's so backward thinking. I can't even wrap my brain around it without getting furious.
Yeah. And that's a big part of what it's like the hidden costs of paying for abortion procedures, because in Texas you do have to have that mandatory 24-hour waiting period. So more often than not, you have to end up having finding like a place to stay. You might have to find childcare, all depending. You might have to find somebody to cover your shift. You might have to just find, some way to get to where you need to go. And Texas is the largest state that has the highest number of cities, or it has the highest number of cities that are more than 100 miles away from an abortion provider.
Yep.
So Texas in general is just fucked up.
Garbage.
Yeah, no, I agree. And honestly, again, in all of, as far as I know, up until recently, I need to check Nashville, because Nashville tends to be a blue dot in a very deep red state, just like Memphis does. Memphis is a blue dot in a deep red state. I need to make sure that I'm not misspeaking here, but as far as I know, the 2 clinics here in Memphis are the only ones in my state. I may be wrong about that, but they're also servicing West Memphis, Arkansas, which is right across the river, and they're servicing Mississippi, because Mississippi doesn't have any anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make it illegal. They made the restrictions so hard that none of the clinics could stay open.
Yeah, and that's what they did in 2014 in Texas. Was they started doing these trap laws, which is targeted regulation against abortion providers, that basically just brought seemingly arbitrary rules, like how wide hallways had to be, how you had to have a separate, separate rooms for everything, how you had to have specific nursing staff for specific procedures, like they could only do certain things.
And specific doctoral staff as well.
Yeah.
You had to have an on-call MD that was also connected to a major hospital or something.
Yeah, they had to have admitting privileges to a hospital within 30 miles.
That was it, yeah.
And more often than not, if you're an abortion provider, and if you're in somewhere like Corpus Christi, which is where I'm from, then you have Christus hospitals, which are Catholic hospitals.
Yes, and Catholic hospitals will not do it.
An abortion provider.
Yeah.
No, and they won't even help you if you're miscarrying.
No.
If you are, well, it depends on the situation. I should back that up. I'm sorry. I don't mean to feel. I was raised Catholic, so I'm a little Catholic, But okay. Let me back up. No, but Catholic hospitals, if you are starting to miscarry, and they can still detect a fetal heartbeat, or even when it's not even a fetal heartbeat, when it's just a cluster of cells that's creating an electrical, or whatever, if they can detect that, they won't do it. They will send you home. And so what happens then is you're miscarrying at home.
Miscarry at home.
You're not, and you're not getting a DNC. You're not, and what women end up doing is they end up coming back a few days later, often with infections.
Yeah, sepsis.
And sepsis, that can happen. So, I mean, this is really dangerous. It really threatens the lives of women. And frankly, it's not that I hate children. I love my nieces and nephews. I don't want kids. I've known that my whole life, but, I'm really glad my mom had me. But at the same time, it's let's take care of the people who are here before we worry about the ones that aren't even born yet. Can we do that? Because we're not doing that.
Because they realize, different people have all their different, they have different outlooks on stuff, they have different opinions on stuff, and I understand that. What perturbs me is when people actively try to restrict another person's bodily autonomy.
Me too. Yeah, and I have family. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say, my older family members, like my aunts and my mom, even, and some folks, and they wouldn't. Well, maybe not my mom. I don't know. I'd have to ask her, but I don't want to get into it. But anyway, my aunts definitely. They lived before Roe v. Wade. Mm-hmm. They were young women before Roe v. Wade, and I came home from a Catholic retreat early in high school, and I was just all fire and, lit up with all the religious fervor that a teenager can have. And I was like, yeah, no, there's really no reason for it, blah, blah, blah. And one of my aunts sat me down at a kitchen table and told me about a friend of hers in high school who got pregnant in the 1950s, and her father literally beat her until she miscarried to avoid the shame that it would bring on their family. And changed my mind completely.
Yeah.
One piece of anecdotal evidence, and I was like, okay, never mind, I'm wrong about this.
Yeah.
And there are people in my family who are, in their heart, they're pro-life, but they vote pro-choice because of that. Like, they do it with a heavy heart, and they feel bad about it, but they're like, no, this needs to be legal. It needs to be available.
Yeah.
And I admire that very much.
Yeah, it's a lot to be able to realize that it's about more than just yourself.
Yeah.
Because I do firmly believe that people can be, personally pro-life, but still believe in another person's choice.
Absolutely.
Like, that's to me, there's not like, to me,
Because I was adopted.
Thank you.
I could have
Thank
been
you, Neil.
I could have been aborted, but I was adopted.
Yeah,
So
we're
I'm very
so
much
glad.
I'm like, if you can give birth and put a kid up for adoption, but if you can't, then don't.
Yeah,
Do what you got to do.
And thank you for bringing that up, Neil, because that is an important point. And adoption is a beautiful thing. My first cousin's adopted because one of my aunts can't have children, and him and his son. I mean,
That was my mom's case.
Yeah, I mean, their son and their grandchild are just the light of their lives, and he's awesome, and he's all. I mean, it was the only funny thing was that my aunt called my mom one day when I was about 8. And she said, "Hey, does Julie know that Chris is adopted?" And she said, "Well, yeah." And she said, "Did you tell her?" And she said, "No, she kind of figured it out. He doesn't look like the rest of us." And it's because his mom was from Lebanon. And so I just asked Mom. I was like, and I didn't care. I just asked her. I was like, "Hey, is Chris adopted? Because he doesn't look like any of us." And she was like, "Yeah, he is, honey. It's fine." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I just went on with my 8-year-old day, who gets I didn't give a fuck, And then but my aunt was like, "Okay, we should probably tell Chris then before he hears it from one of his cousins." Right? Yeah. So it was a bit old school, but they did. It was a closed adoption back in the day, like they did. I don't know. I'm a big proponent of open adoption for that reason, because I have family and friends who were adopted, and they just want to know.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't thought too much about the topic, so I don't really
Mine was
know.
closed, but they found me anyways.
Yeah, they found you anyway, and I've seen you take a lot of joy in that. And
Neil, I could tell you a quick story about my third cousin who lives in Atlanta, Georgia. She was adopted, and her family in Georgia managed to find out, that she was actually a relative. And I years ago, I got in touch with her on Facebook, and she finally came over to England, and we spent about a week or so together.
Oh, that's lovely.
But we both did an ancestry DNA test, which, sorry, she didn't, her brother did, and I did. And we're definitely relatives. And it turns out we're third cousins, so it goes back to our great-grandmothers, I think, so something like that. But, you suddenly find these people in your life, which is amazing, that you never knew about. And third cousins aren't that far away, really. It's like your grandmothers had, great-grandmothers had sisters, and, you're descended. But,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have relatives in Italy. I have relatives in England. I have that I never knew. So one of these days I got to get back out that way and meet them all. So
I have relatives in Massachusetts that we never knew, because my paternal grandfather left my grandmother and my dad when my dad was still a baby, and just fucked off back home. In his defense, they were a World War II USO hookup, so I don't really know how serious it was. My grandma always used to say that they were together just long enough to have my dad, and that was it. But he went back to Massachusetts and had no contact. And my dad, we didn't find him until we found his death certificate. online, which was
Oh, really?
a big bummer for my dad. But my dad did find that he had an aunt who was still living and an uncle who was still living and 2 half-sisters.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and the half-sisters were not thrilled initially because it kind of fucked up how they thought of their father, which was sad because he'd never said that he'd ever had this other family down
Yeah.
south, and that, but
Not
they
surprising.
did, yeah, not surprising for the time, frankly. But they did take a DNA test, and she did accept the results of that, and it showed that they were half siblings, like just straight down the line. So,
Oh, wow.
I didn't need a DNA test. When you look at me and compared to my biological family, as soon as they pulled up to meet me, they were like, "Oh yeah, he's one of us."
that's what my dad's aunt said. She said, "Send me a picture," and then she called him on the phone and said, "You're my brother's son. You look just like him." And my grandmother had always said that. She said, "Your daddy looks just like his daddy, except his daddy was a redhead." That's it. Yeah.
Neil's family all had bandanas on.
And long hair.
Oh, they're
I wouldn't doubt that, actually.
What? I wanted to show you some other Star Wars stuff, because it's Star
Oh,
Wars.
yes.
yes, please.
Have you ever heard of things called fandexes?
No.
Fandex?
It sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, though.
Oh, okay. I recognize that. I did not know the proper name for it.
Dude,
That's the best.
Yeah, and it has all the little stats and stuff on everything from the planets to the characters to the weaponry to the ships to everything, even the fucking Sarlacc.
Oh, cool.
They need a Sarlacc Funko Pop. They really need that.
They really do. No, you're right, Susan. You're absolutely right.
And the most unique thing I got, I think, is this made out of auto parts Boba Fett.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so
Oh, that is so
I also have an
badass.
alien, but he's over the stove in the kitchen.
Yeah, sorry I have to keep giving you all the googly eye there, but you're very small on my little screen.
So, Neil, what are you meant to do with that fan thing? Apart
What am
from
I
fan
going-
yourself with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, when it gets hot here, which,
You
is
do
rare
that?
in Canada.
I mean, are they like tarot cards? Or...
No, they're all attached by a little plastic clip.
Oh,
You can
okay,
have them
it is a fan. Right.
Yeah, see,
Do that. Okay.
it's like Star Wars hot.
Although
I have no idea what that is.
There we go.
It's all right. I had to ask.
Sit on the side.
Looks like a Cylon.
No,
It
it's Kylo Ren on his whisper. Give me that.
Oh, yeah, it
I'm
is.
so bad at this. There
Yeah,
we go.
see.
Oh, is it Kylo?
Yeah, on his whisper. This one was a standalone
Oh, cool.
one. And then, because it's part of the, it's really, really great detail too on it. This was a standalone one. I don't remember when I got to this one.
I don't want to cause dissension in the ranks, but his name should have been fucking Jason. Because,
Right,
I mean,
that would have just actually been like proper canon, but they just threw out all of the actual extended universe.
yes, thank you. And I grew up, and Junk Shop and I both grew up reading those books and all of it. And so it's like, okay, like,
The mind's
I
eye.
get that you want to change stuff, but why do you have to
It's
change
Ben.
everything?
Wait, his name wasn't Ben.
Well,
No,
because
he
in
was,
actuality, Han and Leia had twins, Jason and Jaina.
yeah, Jason and
Jaina,
Jaina. They had Jedi twins, and that was what was so cool. And
That's even in
my
the comics.
older sister and brother are twins, so of course, growing up, I absolutely thought they were Jedi. Completely believed it.
That's the best.
It was awesome.
Ah, well, here's a story. Julian, well, everyone actually. In 2001, the UK had we have a census every 10 years. There was one in 2011, but in the 2001 census, it was one of the first big sort of viral movements on the interweb. And in the census,
Interweb.
it asks you to state your religion, and it goes from Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, whatever, other. And
Other?
and under other, you could tick box other and write Jedi.
Oh,
Nice.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
heard
have that
about
here
this.
too.
And
Yeah,
so many people put, I put Jedi on mine, on my set.
Nice.
Ah,
And,
beautiful.
and so many people did it that the government decided, oh, Jedi isn't a religion. But somebody worked it out that there were actually more Jedis in England than Jews or Buddhists.
Nice.
That's funny.
Oh.
Nice.
And it's so funny
That's like
when you,
in the States with the nuns.
He's hooded.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Roy. I apologize.
No, I was just going to finish because it's so funny because if you meet somebody who actually did that, they go, "Oh yeah, I voted Jedi."
That's the
That is
best.
so great. It is the best. On our census, which happened this year, so it's fresh in my mind, they had the religion question, and our only option was none. Like it was
Oh
you know
really? Okay.
yeah it was literally like the three biggies,
Right.
you know, Christian, Muslim, Jewish,
Yeah.
and then Hindu, and then a couple of other things,
Yeah.
but not like I used to be I used to be Wiccan. That wasn't on there. Yeah, so the only
Wiccan.
other option was none.
Hmm.
And I really wanted to
Right.
say like atheist, fucking I mean not my religion, but I don't have
Sure.
one. And I couldn't even represent in the census for that. So, but we did check none. So that's
I
good.
just want to make an announcement. Scott Varney has become a patron. Thank you, Scott.
Yay!
Oh, thank you, Scott.
That's really cool.
Yay!
And yes, just so you know, Scott, I'm actually very good friends with Rachel Oates.
Here's to Scott. Well done.
Here's to
Well done,
Scott.
sir. Well done,
Here's
sir.
Scott.
Another name I got to add to my patron ticker tape thing that I sometimes run here. Yeah, I do.
You're on.
I'm running out of
I should-
room though. I don't know how many letters you can use.
I should DM this.
There
I
you go.
shouldn't just say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You were on my list, Neil, for there were a couple of people I wanted to add, be a patron of, and you were on the short list for that, and then I got furloughed, and I was like, fuck, yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, I gotta wait.
actually-
I know you understand.
I've actually
yeah.
because what's going on right now, I've stopped collecting. I've shut off my collections so that people don't have to be you need all the money you can get right now, let's put it that way. So I've
Damn it! Why
I've
didn't
shut
you
off my
marry my
patron.
sister instead of my shitty brother-in-law? You're so awesome.
Well, get my $10 back, Neil.
As soon as you know what, I've got money sitting with Google, but they can't figure out. I had an AdSense account with my other account, which I closed, but they still think I have an AdSense account, so they will not release my money until I close the other account. And every time I tell them I close the other account,
Yeah.
they come back, "Oh, you have an AdSense account?" No, so I'm going to have to phone them and
Yeah.
talk to them about this.
Well, we
We'll both be on the phone with Google because that's who's holding my thing ransom.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
we went up to Oklahoma in October. I had a debate with one Dean Meadows. Some of you might know who that is.
Nice.
And I talked to him today. His wife's birthday is today. So happy birthday to Neil's wife. If you ever watch this, which you won't, but happy birthday. And we went up there, and Neil and I were actually debating in the next spring as well. We're having a debate. I think it's going to be in North Carolina at a church over there. And went up there and always said, that when we come up in this to the church next year, he asked if I, wanted to charge like a fee or anything. And I said, first off, nobody's going to pay to see me do anything. And secondly, no, of course not. But if people want to actually help to, pay for cost or anything, and, we can let them know that, sure, but I'm going to give all that away. And that's in the future. Well, a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
I received something in the mail from, it's in Claymore, Oklahoma. What's the university name again?
Roger State.
Yeah, Roger State. And I was like, oh, it's probably like a thank you letter or something. And because this was in October and it was a check. And I was like, did these people pay me to go there? Because that wasn't something that we spoke about. And it was $300.
Yeah.
And I was like, did they watch the debate? And so, you know, the first thing, you know, because we're kind of talking about it. Obviously, you know, right now it's you know, I'm furloughed and apparently don't qualify for unemployment. And it's like, oh, we could use this. Except, no, we can't, because I've always promised that's going to go right to charity. So we put some stuff on Twitter, and I think it's going to go to like Oregon Food Bank, I think. Yeah. We've already given them some money before, donations like in the name of your father, right? Yeah. And
Well,
so now
that's-
it's going to be so.
That's some fucking integrity right there. Because not only did you stick to your principles, but you did it when times were hard. And I really admire that. That's amazing.
As much as it is right now, she and I are okay. You know, we have saved well enough, you know, and to where something like that, there are people that have so much, I say so much less on purpose.
No, it's true though.
And so we want to be able to help them. And I do some stuff with like the Meals on Wheels anyways. And so if they need food more than anything, and if we can help with that, you know, that's what we wanted to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was because I was working at home for a bit, and I'm a technical writer. It's totally doable. My company originally was running comes from Germany, so you know, they were more aware of the COVID stuff before you know, before any American governmental folks were acting on anything. So back in March, like they were like, okay, we're sending you home with your computer and your stuff. Just go home, work from home. I was like, fantastic, I can do that. And it was going great, and it worked really well. And I remember talking to a colleague of mine and saying, we need to kick this in the ass so they don't ever make us make that 90-minute commute one way again. Like, we really need to do this and make it look good. So we were working, like, not just from home, but we were working our asses off to like really produce as high quality work as we could. And then so then when that was happening and other people were getting laid off all over the place, like Junk Shop and I were giving to Modest Needs because those were being matched. Oh shit. Oh, hey. We were in
The
Jeff
Jar
and I
Jar
were in
Binks.
a thing earlier.
Hypothesis.
Oh no.
I was not trying to interrupt
Oh,
your amazing story there.
Jar
but I
Jar, no, it
also-
doesn't matter. No,
That
this
was
is more
fucking
important.
funny.
This is
Jar
far
Jar.
more important.
Oh,
No, this
doing the
matters
modesty
more.
thing during Vulgarity for Charity.
Yeah.
Well, we did that, but then we also, and I got my oldest brother roasted, the one who doesn't believe that we walked on the moon, and the one that I say I'm not close to, the one who also doesn't
fuck.
believe that anyone's actually dying from COVID-19. Like, all I did was post a lovely I know, it's fucked up, man. All I did, he doesn't live here, he lives way far away, so it's
Hit him with a
that's
fucking
nice,
shovel.
but, he's an idiot. And
Rory, you
all
got
I
a gun,
did,
right?
all I did, oh, he has a lot. Don't go there. But
Goddamn shovel.
all I did was post a thing of a memorial outside of a New York City hospital where people had candles lit for people who had died, and he posts right under that on Facebook, bullshit. And I almost blocked him. The only reason I didn't, I know, the only reason I didn't is I'm the only person in our family that he hasn't blocked himself. And I'm basically waiting to be the one to say, hey, by the way, our mother is dead. You should know that. Like that, I mean, that, or our father is dead. Like, basically, that's the only reason I'm keeping that line of communication open, because he's an idiot and a dickhead. I do not. Ugh.
Wow.
Hit him with a shovel and then light him on fire.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. It's
And then
so
pee on
frustrating.
him to put him out after he's
It's so frustrating. I mean, he totally lives in his own very self-absorbed, very narcissistic world that doesn't involve the rest of us, apparently.
So he thinks that
Or
like
it-
9/11 was an inside job too.
I don't know, but
I
he
guarantee
definitely doesn't believe we ever landed on the moon. And
the
the fucked up thing about that is he was alive when that happened. He was a small child, but he was alive. The twins, he's the oldest. The twins were born the night we landed on the moon.
Oh wow.
It's like been the thing. Yeah, it's been like my mom has always like jokingly bitched about it because she didn't get to see Lance Armstrong land on the moon because she was busy giving birth to twins, and my dad was watching it in the waiting
I
room.
don't think it was Lance.
Armstrong?
I'm sorry, no, fuck me running. Nope.
What's my name?
Your name is Neil. I think I meant Lance Armstrong.
No, you didn't.
Neil Armstrong.
No, I didn't.
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
No.
I did. Lance Armstrong is the bicyclist who had a bad fall from grace at
The
one point.
cheating
No.
motherfucker is what he is.
No.
Yeah, cheating. I'm sorry, Neil.
Well,
Neils are amazing.
To be fair, I think that
Take care away.
Lance would probably give his other testicle to go to the moon.
That's true.
You know the
So-
amazing thing, though?
Neil.
Wait, is Neil?
Oh, yeah, he
Neil
did the same.
snarf beer. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, you know the other cool thing about Neil? Yes, bow, absolutely. You know the other cool thing about Neil Armstrong? A guy like my brother went up to him, and he was a flat earther. Did you guys hear this story?
No, that was Buzz
Or see
Aldrin.
it?
That was all.
Yes,
Yeah.
he punched him in the
Aldrin.
fucking face
Yeah, with the
because he's a national goddamn hero, and
Yeah.
you don't tell him he didn't risk his life to go
Yeah.
to the moon. What
He
the
was in
fuck? I'm sorry if
Transformers.
I'm yelling.
Yeah, he was.
He was in the Dark of the Moon, I think. I think that was the one, which makes sense because the moon.
Oh my goodness.
It was a
That
shitty
does make
movie,
sense, yeah.
but I'm just
But
saying.
still.
Yeah, it was
Also-
entertaining.
Yeah, shitty movie.
I can do his voice. So it works out.
Abrams is over everything. I can't. I have
Did I
that.
do
Anyways,
that?
not
Talking
important.
about the
Not
All
important.
Spark
Sorry,
one
Neil.
morning.
Sorry, I said Lance and not Neil.
I was literally doing Optimus Prime one morning. The name of my
Oh, I do it all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
my Wi-Fi hotspot is Optimus past his prime.
Nice.
But like the other morning, I was, because I get like scratchy voice in the morning, and I was talking about the Allspark, I was talking to Witwicky, and I was like, let's get the Allspark, and all that was just
Doesn't
like,
quite work nearly as well. when
Autobots
he's
roll
not
out.
just waking up.
yeah, when I don't, like in the morning, I'll like roll out, and it's like so
Oh, yeah, it's
gravelly. Oh man, I
It's
I
full
do that one
vocal
better than
fry
Obama,
all the way.
so. Yeah,
Nice.
and my Obama impression.
Hey,
is-
Man, back in the day, I
Nice.
named my penis Optimus Prime. So
nice.
things you
Very
never
nice.
thought you'd find out about me.
Mine was a
I'm
bumblebee because
thrilled
it'll
to know
sting you.
that.
You may not know, but it'll sting you. That's what happens to me with her because she stings
This-
me. That's a real thing. That hurt.
I got
She
my
stings
IUD
you?
replaced. I got my IUD replaced before I left Texas, and my previous one didn't have strings because they got cut off
There wasn't
during
a string.
a leak
Oh.
procedure. So he never had to deal with IUD strings until I got it replaced.
That's what a
The hell is
string.
that?
That's what a string. No, it's a sword. It's not a string.
So he learned
No,
the hard way.
It's not something you want around a
Oh.
special place.
I had
No.
no idea those things had strings.
I didn't.
I
They're
didn't.
not even-
Well, it makes
it's-
sense because you have to be able to take it out if you absolutely need to. Although, well, the doctor has to be able
Yeah,
to
the
really.
doctor
I don't-
does, yeah. So the
Yeah,
doctor's
you
gonna be able to
couldn't-
like, locate it and stuff, and you have to
Yeah.
check your own strings to make sure it's still sitting there.
Yeah.
Make sure it hasn't got lost in you.
Yeah, I don't. Oh God,
It's
that's
not.
why I don't have one. It's just because I like.
Was there
I
a
love
few
the
minutes
idea.
ago?
I love the idea that like just copper just stops us from like being able to be impregnated. I love that. That's so brilliant, and it's so safe. And
the
but at the same
obstructive
time,
the obstructive larks are the copper ones, and then
Don't
Lorraine
worry.
and Skylar
Worry,
are
Scott.
the
It's just a theory.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boo.
Oh.
But the whole thing about having something pushed into my cervix just really freaked me out, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So-
I don't have a cervix, so I can't really relate with you. So.
Yeah, we're safe in other ways. I'll put it that way.
yeah.
I'd go back to the old chastity bells. I thought that was quite
Mm-mm.
I thought you
That
posted
reminds
something
me
about
of
that
Robin
earlier.
Hood Men in Tights.
Well, Rory, I'm sorry I said I'm not here to kink shame. You do you.
Right.
That's fine.
There's a baby.
There's a baby.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Hi.
That was
There's a
that.
baby.
Not bad.
Hi, baby.
Oh my goodness, your child is precious.
Do you remember being that small?
Hello, tiny human.
All I see right now is Julia the voice with her face right up there, and all I can think of is Creaky Blinder going CGI.
See? I love Creaky Blinder. Oh my gosh.
My gosh, she has
so-
grown so much since your last stream.
I know it. She's been steadily growing.
Yeah.
They get big so fast. My great nephew is already walking and has full hair.
You want to stand up on the desk? Stand up.
Hey, baby girl.
Hey.
Please don't push Mommy's computer tower onto the floor.
You're gonna
No,
be a.
I like how
Dude.
there's dinosaurs on her onesie.
Now, what kind of
making me
dinosaurs are those?
I
You got
saw
any?
an Apatosaurus.
Yeah, you got you got any ornithischians on there?
I don't know, but I'll hold her up and you can look.
Yeah, all right. I do see a
I love her little feet.
Protoraptor.
Oh my
Couple of
goodness.
T-Rex.
Jeff, yeah, it's awesome.
That is cute.
That
There
is
you go. There's a
adorable.
Thagomizer. Oh, but there's a
Oh,
Quetzalcoatlus on there. Throw them away. Those aren't dinosaurs.
well, that's not her fault though.
I never
She's-
thought they
she-
had to be dinosaurs.
They can be exhausting at that age, but they're also so adorable. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got 9 nieces and nephews, so I've done my share of all that helping out and changing diapers. and
Later,
stuff,
we're
but-
warming up the barbecue, Jeff. It's okay.
Oh, precious. Oh my goodness.
She starts laughing when I start chewing on her belly. Like I'll munch on her belly playful and she just starts giggling and kicking her feet.
Oh.
Oh yeah, of course, because it tickles and it's fun.
Yeah, it's one of her favorite
Oh,
things.
She's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I
She's
certainly
gonna
love her.
have
Squish your little cheeks.
A lot more hair than I
I
do.
know, right?
Do you think the
But you
red
gotta
hair
put
is
like
gonna
squeezy
stick?
toy things
know?
in there, so when you squeeze them, they go.
They don't. They don't.
Next one, all right, I'm already
She's like,
sick of this.
checked.
she's going to have
Frustrated because I won't let her touch anything.
she's going to have great legs, that's for sure.
Oh, she does. Like
Get
I
in
like
the
her already.
belly.
her legs are already so strong.
I love her so
Oh,
much.
oh, how could
She'll
you
be
not?
11 months old on the 19th.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my goodness!
Yeah.
June 19th. All right. Fellow June baby. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Hey, she did it. She totally mimicked you, Neil. Oh my god.
Well, she recognizes Neil's face because even when she was a little bitty baby, I was watching, so she knows his voice and she knows his
She
face.
probably screamed. Ah!
No, she goes.
It's Bigfoot.
No, look at her. See? No screaming. She clearly knows your voice and likes it. Oh.
Well, she can't
Okay,
hear you guys
so-
because I've got you guys going through my headphones. But
That's
Oh.
probably fine because I'm watching my language right now, but I
no.
do not want to be the one to teach your newborn her first.
I saw that word. I saw that one.
let me put it this way: all of our real life friends that see her are like, her first word's gonna be
Friends.
fuck. And some of them were placing bets, and I'm like, great. Like I have one
going to
friend.
be fuck.
Yeah, I gotta say when my brother was the one I'm close to, when he was going through his divorce, he and his 2 sons were living with my mom and my dad and I was in high school. So I went to take the baby at the time, Andrew. I shouldn't say the name. Anyway, that's whatever. I made that up. That's not his name at all. Anyway, so I took the baby to Kroger, and he had just learned the word SHIT from his father, and he was singing it in the grocery store in this little town suburb that my parents live in that's like 40 minutes away from here. And the whole time I am getting the most disgusted looks from everyone. And I'm like, he's not mine. I didn't teach him that. I'm still in high school. Then again, it's Tennessee, so that's not that unusual here. So what are you gonna do?
Maybe he was trying to tell you he wanted to go to the toilet.
He was just singing a song with syllables he learned. It was hilarious, but also embarrassing in public.
That's the best, and I love it.
The only downside about having an almost 11-month-old is she doesn't have any teeth,
Oh,
which is
So
not
she just
supposed to
gums
happen.
everything.
well, teething is rough.
Problem by
So.
now.
Well, don't come in a hard time.
Why?
Good night. Why would you do that, Neil?
Not as bad as the spiders you fuckers put on their
I'm
eyes.
so
God.
sorry. Yeah. No, that's fair. Junk Shop posted
No, ma'am. Let go.
Familiar with this meme, right? This is
Yeah.
an article on why Batman actually slapped Robin.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, child abuse is fine. No, it's not. So
When
Robin.
NASA
It was
has
just
translated a
fine to
Hubble
stick around.
photo.
It's fine.
NASA has translated a Hubble photo into
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
music.
Yes, I listened to that. It's pretty legit, man.
It's pretty chilling.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's really really it's not Star Wars, but you know it's pretty okay because there's a lot of that. Because space has noise, so it's pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you
Which
can't
is-
hear anything in space.
No, and
Apparently.
so that's the great dichotomy of it. Like it's like okay.
There are none of those explosions, that's for sure. Sorry, Star Wars.
No.
fans.
Which
I
is
know.
actually what I loved
Or
about
ship noises or
Firefly.
anything. You can hear the
Is that
ship noise
whenever
inside the ship.
whenever there was an explosion shown from outside the ships, it was silence.
No noise.
And I was
Exactly.
like, thank you.
They did that with
Thank
Dark
you.
Matter too.
Nice.
Yeah, I did not. Yeah,
And
know that-
SG-1. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, Stargate Universe. They did that with that.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, Stargate Universe. That was awesome, and I was so upset when I got canceled.
Yeah. You
Sorry
were
to
like
go away from
everybody
Star
else.
Wars, but
that
yeah,
made me. I was disappointed when I found that out. I didn't like Armageddon anymore.
Please.
I was like,
I didn't like it to begin with, so
How
we're
about refrain from that?
I was still, I'm still a Bruce Willis kind of guy. He's a MAGA.
I like
whatever.
Bruce.
Yeah, and I was like, you've gone backwards since Die Hard, man. What is this?
that one was rough because, frankly, the other one, Deep Impact, basically the same notion that was done the same year by a different studio.
Yeah.
That one was better. Like it was more realistic. But you do have some really fun moments in Armageddon. Like like when they're like, none of them want to pay taxes anymore, ever. And I was like, fair.
Yeah, I gotta save the world. I shouldn't have to pay anything ever again.
Ever
not
again,
just taxes. I should get everything
free
for free.
everything for life. Absolutely. And like Jim Belushi's character, not Jim, God,
Goodness, be careful.
No, it's
sorry, I just said a bad
It's
word in
okay.
front of your child. I also
She can't
I
hear
also
you
just
for one,
realized-
for two. She hears worse from me on the daily.
excellent, thank you. So
It is-
I'm using I'm just screwing up names tonight. Dagnabbit, you know who I mean, the one that she says check any bar in New Orleans.
yeah. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna try and figure it out because I knew it the other. Remember
The
when we saw
funny
it?
looking guy from Fargo.
He's awesome.
This is killing me.
Remember when I saw it for the death of Stalin, right?
Yes.
Which, by the way, watch that. It
That
is
movie's
so
really
good. Yeah, I saw that and I was like,
Absolutely.
that's Steve Buscemi.
Wait.
Steve
and
Buscemi, thank you.
I know that I was not the only person sitting there going, all right, when's Steve Buscemi gonna die? Because that was like his thing forever. That he
He
got
was
put in the wood chipper, man.
certain. Yeah, he was certain he was not gonna live through. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, he
Anyway.
definitely was gonna die. And
Steve Buscemi is amazing. He's
Yeah.
a hero of mine in terms
Oh,
of
yeah.
just acting ability and range. He's awesome.
yeah, definitely watch the death of Stalin because he plays Nikolai Khrushchev in that
I am
film.
making a note.
And it is it's one of like the best films I've ever seen. It is so good. And I'm like a critic. So
What
I
is
don't-
this? What is this? Bruce Willis? Fifth Element is peak Bruce Willis? No.
No,
no.
disagree.
You gotta
Dion.
go back to TV for Moonlighting.
Oh,
Yes.
Moonlighting! Oh
Yeah,
my
that's-
gosh! Do you remember the Taming of the Shrew episode, which would probably be super problematic now, but was so great at the time? Like, sorry.
Yeah, because that was when it didn't do so well. That is great. And
That's so great.
and so whenever he got the part for Die Hard, people were like, "What? This shit's gonna tank." He's like,
And it became everyone's favorite Christmas movie.
for good reason, by the way. Thanks.
Yeah,
Top
for good
5
reason.
movies
I
ever
did. I'm
made.
sorry.
I cannot find an error in the movie.
It's so great.
I'd like
Yeah.
to see you later, Sherwood.
You
So-
probably had to go
Oh.
dad.
Who
so
ran
much
away?
love there.
I can't.
You probably had to go
Oh.
dad.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
did.
okay.
Scott, no, I didn't. Damien and I chose to address one another off the stream so that we could get back on topic. If anything, he
Oh.
made me stop.
Also, we're both divine disbelief.
Yeah, it's both of us. Yeah. So if we ever, if it's ever in the first person on Divine Disbelief on the Twitter or YouTube, it's me. But if it's ever, it could be either of us because it'll be like in the third person. It'll be like we, us, our, something like that. So just so you know, and if you ever respond to us on YouTube, it's both of us. Oh, The Fifth Element is good.
Oh yeah, hell, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a great movie, and also I DM'd you guys on Twitter tonight and
Got
started
that,
following you. I have a note to sub to your channel because I don't think I am, and I've heard about y'all for a while, like for a minute, and I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah, we're
I feel
sorry
bad.
you're here for so long.
I feel bad. I don't
I'm
think I'm
muted.
subbed, so I gotta go check.
Yeah.
Oh, McFly.
I think I subbed to Divine Disbelief, but it was just for Susan. Sorry, Nate.
No, that's the reason to do it. I'm the contentious one.
I subbed to my partner's channel on multiple devices when he first started because I was like, "No, hey, we're doing this old school, man." I'm like, "We're gonna,
Oh,
it's
that
gonna work."
reminds me. I'm gonna have to sub to Divine Disbelief on all my other profiles too on YouTube.
Yes.
We're at like 324.
No, we're 330 now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is amazing. And
Woohoo!
Yeah, we don't really ever do anything either. So you guys, I don't know why you guys are subscribing.
well, you should know that when you offered to collab with me, I've got like 42 followers. So just so you know, it's not going to help you.
Well, we will.
I want to do it. But it's not going to help you. Just so you know.
No, it's really, it's not even necessarily about that. You know, when we talk to Neil and stuff, you know, sure, we share subs and whatnot.
Oh, we have 332.
Yeah, but really, it's just about.
Careful, you're
How,
gonna
how,
fall.
how, do how do I find you on Twitter, Julie?
Oh, I think it's J Lavoice, LAVOICE.
Okay. I'll have a look.
Yeah, it's well, there's a story there, but I won't get into it. Anyway, it's a thing. It's a weird name.
That'd be neat.
So
Well,
just-
Neil will know. Neil will know.
Yeah,
Won't
J Lavoice. Neil will know. Yeah, and
he?
if-
J Voice. Okay.
yeah, and if it's not J Lavoice, it's JK Lavoice because those are my full initials. But I think it's just J Lavoice at Twitter.
Okay. Okay.
I
Can I,
And then on-
Neil,
Rory, for you, do you do
Neil,
that?
Yes.
can I just tell a subject we were talking about earlier about furloughing.
About what?
Furloughing, being furloughed.
Yeah.
Because because in the United Kingdom, it basically means you're paid 80% of your wages.
You guys are awesome because you have social safety nets.
Yeah, your socialism over there in Europe.
And that goes that basically they put you on. My wife is a swimming instructor, and she's on furlough at the moment. And the government pays the school that employed her 80% of her wages, and they actually top it up 20%.
I
So
have
she's
heard that.
So she's on her, pretty much normal wage. In
Yeah.
fact, when we got her paycheck last month, it was far more than we were expecting. But I don't know what happens in the USA or Canada.
Well, it's not good in the USA. I don't know about Canada, but in the
It's
US,
excellent here. What these companies
Yeah.
here in Canada will do is they'll lay you off temporarily, and you're allowed to get what they call employment insurance. So you can apply for that and you'll get it the next day, which normally it takes at least 2 weeks. And the government will send you a $2,000 check for the month.
Yeah, now I will say that's awesome. And I will say the difference between being furloughed in the is that I do keep we are still on my my company's insurance, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And in the US, as you know, we don't have they pretty much gutted Obamacare. We don't have any kind of national healthcare system. So that's very helpful that we're still on that. And I will be on it for the duration of the 90 days that I'm furloughed. Excuse me. But I do not get my full paycheck. No, I do not. Right. I get more because I was laid off one other time in my adult life for 3 months, and I got $275 a week from the unemployment office. I was laid off as a technical writer. The average technical writer in Tennessee, I do not make this money, by the way. I make way less than this by an order of magnitude, if not two, is around $60,000 a year. I do not make that at all. But at the time, like the unemployment office, when I was laid off and looking for the job that I currently have and have had for a few years now, for 3 months, I was covered for 3 months, but they only gave me $275 a week, which is not a lot of money.
Yeah. But are your governments reimbursing the employer for keeping you on the payroll when you're furloughed?
No, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know, but I do know this. And this is kind of amazing. Congress, because we have a largely Democratic, we have a Democrat majority in the Congress right now. Yeah. They passed a couple of bills that saved my ass personally, and one of them was, well, this one kind of sucks because it was a one-time stimulus, but it didn't hurt. We got our stimulus check when we filed our taxes, and that was useful because because it's for 2 adults, so we got a little over $2,000, and that was good. That was useful. And then the other thing that happened is my unemployment went from $275 a week to a little over $800 a week. Now, to give you an idea of that, my rent is $750 a month, so we're okay. But it's still a little, we just have to be careful, basically. And then also we're lucky in that, we have family who are, my parents and Junk Shop's parents have already offered to help us out when we need it. And I told them when we do, I will call you.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're very lucky in that way.
Yeah, we don't have that. And I got like triple charge for my insurance. I got my PTO paid out on this check, which thanks. I can't just keep that.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that was fun, and they like triple charged me for my insurance. So not only am I furloughed for but not being paid at all, and I don't qualify for unemployment. And I had, it was something like $390. I got like $87.
Yeah. Because they charged him like
kidding.
3 times for his insurance.
Yeah, and I was looking at it last night. I was like, what is this?
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're doing okay.
I mean, I know you said you had savings or whatever, but I'm worried. I'm like, that's insane. I'm so sorry.
I make enough money that like we're able to get groceries and pay bills and stuff like that. Yeah. We don't do extravagancies.
Sure.
Well, if you guys need help, let me know.
Yeah. Me too, because we can make something happen.
It doesn't appear like that's gonna be the case right now. No. We did.
Okay.
So
just know that we're here.
I'm just saying what my mama said. If you need
we had this stuff before.
This was the Funko Pops did not. Happen
you don't have to explain that shit to me. I get it.
But
those were already here.
We decided to, because we could have told our our landlord. We can't pay right now. We chose not to do that.
Yeah, we chose not to do that too.
And so and I'm certain that we're we'll be fine. It's been
I mean, in part
Crazy.
because more than 3 million Americans are laid off right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we can actually pay our rent this month, so let's do that until we can't, or if we can't. Let's do that as long as we can, because the people who really need help are the people who can't pay their rent.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
I didn't want to mess with that. I wanted to be like, let's let any money that is drummed up, let it go to those folks first.
Yeah, and it's nice that we don't have electricity or anything like that. We don't have to. That's all bundled into our rent and stuff, so we don't have to worry about that coming.
Nice.
And yeah, God, this governor makes that point. We haven't gone. She's been like fiending for. She's never been.
Sorry, it's 7 o'clock.
Oh, I was kind of wondering what you were talking for. It's the
if you
shift
listen,
change.
if you listen, you'll hear all the horns and the
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone
no, that's
thanks
really
all-
cool.
Yeah.
I told my
Started
mom
here.
about that, Neil.
Yeah,
I told my mom about that. I was like, okay, so in Canada, in this one city, they're doing this thing, and
No,
she
no,
loved
it's
it.
spreading. It's all across.
Yeah, it's
Well,
important now as well.
I know,
Yeah.
but she has dementia, and I doubt she remembers the conversation. But she enjoyed it in the moment.
Van who?
Yeah, and go ahead, Roy.
We have it, Neil. We have it at 8 p.m. every Thursday.
Oh, we do it every day at 7 p.m. Every day.
Really? Okay. No, it's every Thursday here.
We have a thing here called the 9 o'clock gun, and they've lowered it to 7 to shoot it off.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Last Thursday, my son played his bagpipes
Beautiful.
for 2 minutes.
No,
Yeah.
no, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
My mom's half Scottish. I was just in Scotland in November.
Well, there we
And
go.
that's fucking beautiful. I love that your son plays bagpipes.
That is great. Yeah. Well,
They were an early form of psychological warfare too. Seriously, you hear that sound coming over the bit
That's against the English. Yeah.
against the English. That's right. That is right. And
What the hell is that noise?
exactly what is that? And then suddenly there's people running at you.
And then they raised their kilts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
That's not historically accurate.
Weapons of mass
I wish.
destruction.
If it's not, that's okay. But
it's not.
if it is, that'd be fantastic.
It's not. In fact, the beginning of that film even says what you're about to listen to is a bunch of horse shit.
No.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I wasn't citing Braveheart for
I
that.
know, but
yeah, you're right though. It's kind of a folk legend.
Yeah,
I don't have
it's
any
funny.
citation for that.
It's funny.
And they also didn't paint their faces blue and all that either. But
Yeah. That was
that's
more of a
weird.
Welsh thing or a Pict thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But Susan is
They invented golf.
Yeah, good idea. But she's type 1 diabetic, and so we can't go outside. But we've had a hell of a time since I got up here at the beginning of March, and she was still in Texas. And so I brought the dogs, and just us, because I came here for work, and I just needed to be here. I brought a air mattress, which Benny bit, and so it didn't work. And he's one of our corgis, by the way. And in case you're wondering who that was, and so we didn't she was still in Texas, and I was just going to work and whatnot back and forth. And then I was able to kind of see this stuff kind of coming. And the whole time I was like, they're going to shut the states down. We've got to get here. What are we going to do? Because then she wasn't coming until the beginning of April. And that's when all of our stuff was going to be moved here. And it wasn't going to be here until the middle of April. And ended up that this Oregon and part of Texas basically were shutting things down. We were on the 20th or the 21st or something like
so
that.
Dallas underwent their shelter-in-place order on the 21st, which is the day that I left. Oregon underwent their shelter-in-place order on the 23rd, which is the day I arrived.
Yeah, and so
That was fun.
and so she came. We got in touch with a buddy of mine who lives in Fort Worth, and he went over and helped her to pack the essential stuff, because you're still talking about almost 2 weeks, and we're jumping the gun on that
Yeah.
to get her here and to be safe, because you can't have like all this other stuff happening, especially not in
was
DFW.
frustrating as shit.
And then my buddy ended up like after she left going over there and like packing a bunch of stuff up and helping with that. But then because we weren't there, we didn't get everything.
No.
In fact,
There's a lot of stuff we don't have anymore.
Yeah, and you know, possessions are one thing compared to being alive, but
but it's still weird, and it would still be awkward and strange.
And then I
get that.
I got furloughed like the first week she was here, or the second week she was here.
Second week, yeah.
Well,
I think you worked a full 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I was sitting there and I was like, oh, we're about to get furloughed in the morning, and then we did.
I got furloughed the day after I paid my student loan payment, which is my second largest bill a month.
Oh,
and that is one cool thing. They did, but I didn't know I was going to be furloughed.
Yeah.
And it was going to be due in a couple of days, so I went ahead and paid it. And the next day, my boss calls me, and he's lovely. It's not his fault, but like, I was like, oh, fucking running.
But
paid this money.
Everything has been very difficult along this path. I love it here. It is fabulous here. But then, I get the unemployment thing back, and they're like, nope, you don't qualify. And so it's like everything was in place, right? Coming here, and it was like working out. Found this place, which is great. If you've seen like some of our other videos and stuff, we can see the outside. It's great, and
beautiful.
And the job here is awesome, and Portland is great, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, all right, everything's in place, and then everything just went to shit. Like everything fell apart, and we were able to make it through it together because together, but.
And I'm still working. Like I'm still working for the same company that I was working for when we were in Texas.
Yeah.
Luckily, since everybody is working from home, they're all like, well, we can still have you.
Yeah.
We can have you stay on, so we don't have to train somebody new, so we don't have to put somebody else on. And my teammate was just all like, she knows her shit. We need to make sure we keep her. And I'm just all like, thank you.
Good.
So,
that's cool.
No, that's really good.
Yeah, I'm anxious all the time.
Are you in Portland, Oregon, or Portland, Maine?
Somebody finally asked! Yes! Sorry if your ears just... Sorry, that's trigger warning. My bad.
No, I had to ask the question. Portland, Oregon, or Portland, Maine?
Portland, Oregon. He's
Portland,
very
Oregon,
excited
okay.
because nobody else has asked yet if we're in Portland, Maine.
Because
really?
The way I always say it is we live in Portland, Oregon, not Maine. I always say that, and nobody ever. I'm like,
well, all right. I'll tell you why I asked the question. I was on a flight from Philadelphia to Portland, Maine, and the plane took off, and a woman in the seat in front of me turned around to the stewardess and said, "We are going to Portland, Oregon, aren't we?" And she went, "No."
Oh,
no, we're going
wrong side of the country.
Americans and geography, it's bad.
Yeah.
So, however, I don't know how she got on that flight.
She probably thought that Portland was for me.
She had a bad weekend because it was a Friday.
Oh, fuck.
And she must have, therefore, she had to fly to Portland, Maine, and then get another flight to Portland, Oregon.
Oh,
which is,
Bravo.
7
it's
hours?
Quite far.
Yeah, it's
7
gotta
hours.
be. Plus, it's got to be with the weight.
Maybe 5.
5.
you got a 3-hour time difference.
Yeah, plus getting a new flight.
That's not enough.
Was it 4 hours to fly from New York to?
It took us 4 hours.
It's going to be that. But
it's 6 hours from Memphis to New York on a regular flight, but if you take a jet, you can get to Chicago O'Hare from Memphis in 3 hours.
Jets.
Yeah.
No.
Less than that. It's actually less than 3 hours. Sorry.
Neil, back when, because I had just gotten back from deployment with the Navy, and we went up to Indianapolis. We flew to Indianapolis for a Christian thing we were doing. And then on the way back, we had to land in Philly. Something with the plane, no idea. We got on a prop plane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no!
Was it Dash 8 or Dash 7 or something like that? Or?
Man, come on, it's early 2000s. And there's like this soccer team that was on with us, like this high school soccer
But
team.
still,
Have you
it's
seen
still,
the movie
no.
Alive?
Yes, and I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Our flight from Chicago O'Hare, excuse me, when we were coming back from Scotland, so we did a transatlantic flight, and then we had a 6-hour layover in
Well, it
Chicago.
would have been dumb to go the other way.
Well, for sure. No, going the other way was freaking awesome, but then we had to come back. But anyway, so we came back, and we're in.
Never mind.
Oh, I missed your point. I'm sorry. So anyway, we coming back, and the flight from Chicago to Memphis is like this. We've been on this like transatlantic, big, amazing plane, right? That can fly across the Atlantic Ocean and be amazing. And then we get on this tiny little thing that's got like, I don't know, 16 seats in it. And I look at Junk Shop and I'm like, okay, so if we die, I'm sorry, because I know this was my idea. Like, it was that weird.
They have like more turbulence on prop planes.
Oh my gosh, so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was an asshole. I you know, you can like lift yourself up in between the seats. I was just like rocking back and forth with like the turbulence, and I was like, it's gonna be fine, I promise. My whole body's just fucking swinging like a swing set.
There is not enough Xanax in the world to get
You like little bottles of whiskey too when you're on that plane. They're like,
oh no, they served wine like once, and I was like, yes, for the love of all that is unholy, please, yes, like
legal.
Yeah. Oh man, I was just like, I get the 2 little bottles, they were like $10 each or whatever.
It's fair. It's fine.
Man.
Like, it's worth it. For the peace of mind, it's worth it. Like, the only thing that saved me on that flight was my dad worked for the Federal Aviation Administration for over 40 years. So that's a two-edged sword, because I know everything that can go wrong, because my dad told me my whole life. Everything
Was
that
there
can go wrong
anyone
on a
named
flight.
Murphy on the flight?
Well, Murphy's Law, yeah, no, but probably. But the one good thing is, and this is, I think this is still true. It may not be. My dad's been retired for quite a bit now. He's been retired for about 15 years, so it may not be a thing anymore. But he always said, coach is where you want to fly, not because it's the cheapest, but because if the plane crashes, more people survive in coach than they do. And it makes sense. I mean, because they tend to nosedive. So you don't want to be in first class if a plane crashes.
You don't want to be
you
at the
probably
back
don't want to
of the
be in a plane if it
You don't wanna
crashes.
be
It's not, your odds are not good regardless, but people who have survived plane crashes tend to be in coach. So just
Yes.
You don't want to be the pilot.
No, you do not. No.
My brother was a commercial airline pilot.
Oh,
So
amazing.
He tells me a few stories about that sort of thing. Yeah.
For anybody that's watching this, planes don't normally crash. Okay.
No.
They don't.
So
They don't. It's very rare. It's very rare.
If you were afraid of flying.
We did this whole. We went
Planes
from
don't crash.
like
They lose the race. They lose the bet with gravity.
You're more likely to get coronavirus.
you are.
Yeah.
You're much more likely to get coronavirus, especially if you're not wearing a mask and you're not practicing social distancing.
Yeah,
And I had to go
the
to the
masks
store
that you see
today.
nowadays are useless.
No, I know they're useless, but what they do psychologically is they signal to other people wearing masks.
Psychologically is not.
No,
gonna
they
help.
do. No, hang on. Let me speak, dude, before you come in, and then I will absolutely stop speaking. I know I talk a lot. I'm sorry, but yeah. So what they do is they signal psychologically to other people wearing masks that you are taking it seriously and you give a shit. And those are the people in the store who actually practice the 6 feet social distancing, which actually does kind of matter.
No mask. I have my hand. I got a bottle of sanitizer I only use in emergency situations, because if you use sanitizer too much, you're going to get sick. So
That's true.
I use it in an
Well,
emergency
likely.
situation. Always wash my hands every time I leave, every time I come home, every time I'm somewhere and I touch something. I wash my hands. I stay my distance. The masks, because the gaps on the side there, and I have facial hair, fucking
Why?
useless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
no, you're right. And I know that cloth masks do not filter out the coronavirus. I know this. I get it. It's
You
too
need the ones
small.
that have the actual filters in them.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rory.
Oh man, it's
I
great.
just took over your stream and called someone to speak.
No,
Sorry.
I was pointing at Susan and
This
Mrs.
is-
Susan.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry,
I'll go with
Susan.
that. That's perfect. No, this is I've taken to calling this pandemic beer, just like that's nickname. Done.
Yeah.
There's actually-
Because I gotta tell
thank
you-
there's a joke in there, by the way.
There is a joke in there, and it's very funny. I'm sorry I didn't react in the proper fashion.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
But if anybody does what that knows that watches, so.
They'll get it.
That's fine.
No,
It's me being-
but it's like,
Oh no, it's me being an asshole. That's what it is.
no, you're
But-
not. It's you're not. It's just frustrating. It's like we try to go out like only like once a week to get like booze, cigarettes, and groceries, and that's what we do. And it's so frustrating in my southern ass fucking town where half the people are like, whatever, they're reopening businesses next week. Let's not even bother. And it's really frustrating. It's like, could you not kill me? That'd be awesome. I would really
We don't leave the
appreciate.
house. We really don't leave the house like at all.
No, I
Good.
gotta go to Washington tomorrow.
To the pharmacy.
Gotta go. Huh?
You gotta go to the
I have to
pharmacy.
go to the pharmacy because I have to go get my medicine.
Yeah,
I can't get it in Oregon because opioids, but still.
yeah. Isn't
Oh,
that funny? Like in Oregon, you can get weed legal, but you can't get opioid. It's weird.
Yep.
Yeah, America's
Opioids
weird.
are far more dangerous than weed.
Yeah, there's.
They are.
and
They are.
Oregon
I did not mean-
pandemic. Basically. This is the,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did not mean to imply that they were the same at all. People do OD all the time, but
Yeah,
but if you're using them for an actual injury, and using them responsibly, and you need them, it is a pain in the ass. And I know this because I have a benzodiazepine that I take because I have 2 anxiety disorders, and I have to take it. I usually only take half a dose a day, but sometimes I need both. And that's all I take. Like if I do take both doses, I don't take any more because it's addictive. But because of that, I have to physically go to the pharmacy to get it. They will not, they won't ship it. They won't. Like my pharmacy will ship my mood stabilizers. They'll ship everything else that keeps all of this together and in one place and not crazy or not totally crazy pants. Yeah.
You take controlled substance too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, when I take Vyvanse, and apparently there's like nowhere that will do an actual 3-month prescription for Vyvanse.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
Oregon
they won't
do it,
for
Washington
my.
won't do it, but Washington,
Yeah.
you can call in multiple prescriptions like at the same time, and they're good for 6 months.
Mhm.
Oh
Like
wow.
in Texas, it's like 14 to 21 days or something
it is.
before it expires. But in Washington, it's good for 6 months.
Well, I can get 3 months on everything except for clonazepam. And that's because it's a benzodiazepine. And if you get 3 months of that at one time, you can OD and you can die.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
if
totally
you were to
missed
take
that.
them all,
With
yeah,
the,
like if you were suicidal, you could die. So I get it. I understand it. It's just also a little frustrating because that's the one that I have to expose myself more, because I have to go and I don't function well without it. I mean, there's a reason that I'm prescribed it.
Before you answer that question, because it's actually a really good question, I'm in a sticky situation with my medicine as well because I have 90-day supply. Up here, I'm really, really grateful right now that they've said, even with like narcotics, which is, I take that. I have to, otherwise like my PTSD is the worst.
Fair.
They can call it in right now. They don't have to worry about like being in person and taking the script, which is great. But I imagine I would have to go and see my doctor at the beginning of June, and that's when my medicine runs out. Well, where am I going to see my doctor? In Texas? No, I'm not going to be able to do that. Where's my doctor in Oregon? I haven't been able to find one yet.
Because of everything that's happening, and you all moved at the time. Oh my gosh!
And so, if there's ever a part of me that's like, can we just stay quarantined for like another 6 weeks, please? Just because I'll be like, hey, can you call my stuff into Oregon, please? That's where I'm at right now. Or call it into Vancouver,
Yeah,
Washington.
have them call into Washington. It's good for 6 months.
Yeah, just do that, please. And it's like, man, because I could die. And I'm like,
you guys need to live. You guys need to move up here, man.
Yeah, we do.
It wouldn't be a problem.
Look, Neil, I don't know why the fuck my ancestor left. Well, actually, I do know why he left, but I wish he hadn't. Like, it would be so. I could have been Canadian in theory. Well, I wouldn't exist actually, but whatever. It would have been cool. I had an ancestor who illegally immigrated from Canada to the U.S. to escape debts he owned, and that's how I ended up with the weird ass last name. But like, man, I would so actually. Jung Shup and I were two of the people who crashed the Canadian immigration website in 2016 when Trump got elected because we looked, and neither of us.
Many people did. They had over something like 2 million hits on that website.
Wow.
And it was all us going, oh, what the fuck? Okay, so to answer Godless Scummer Jeff's question, I was in Edinburgh. Now, my family, they're Robertsons, so it would have been nice to go to the Highlands because that's where they're
Robertsons. From. I know them well. They piss me off all the time.
My grandmother, whom I'm named after in part, was a Robertson. That was her maiden name, and yeah, I would absolutely. So my mom's half German and half Scottish, right? So I would absolutely love.
This crap. Fucking Robertsons, I tell you.
I loved it. I don't know what it was. We were in an awesome neighborhood. For one thing, we were near the Playhouse in Edinburgh. We were right around the corner from like the gay scene in Edinburgh. And like, if you want to find an accepting group to like go like frequent their shops and their pubs and stuff, like find the gay neighborhood in the town. They're going to be awesome. And we just had the best time. And I mean, all we did was like. Too. Yeah. Here too. In my city, it's in Midtown. In Midtown Memphis, the gay community is amazing. But like you just like we went there and we just got up and we'd have breakfast at the hotel and then we'd just walk around all day and we'd find a place to eat at some point. Found a coffee shop we liked. Found a place that sold amazing scotch that we liked, and we didn't spend too much money. In fact, we came in way under budget than what I thought we would. And we saw Tim Minchin in concert.
Nice.
Did you visit? Julie, did you visit Edinburgh Castle?
I did. Yeah, we did visit. Okay, sort of.
I've been there.
Sort of. Thank you, Neil. So we visited the castle outside, but we did not pay to go in because it was really expensive to go in. I know,
really?
but here's because
I was there in like 1980, so.
Okay, well, the reason we didn't go in, Neil, is that we had become accustomed because we learned the first day we were there that there's a tax on plastic bags, which I think is awesome, and I wish they would implement it here. So we went to.
They charge you for plastic bags here too.
Yeah. Oh, they don't in the U.S. So we went to a bookstore and we bought for £2. We bought a canvas bag and we just carried that around with us everywhere that we went. So whenever we bought anything that we needed, it just went in the canvas bag and all was good. And then we go to the castle. We walked the whole like Royal Mile up to the castle. It was amazing. And it was fucking cold. It was like 4 degrees Celsius. It was like 3 degrees Celsius. And it was really windy. It was so cold. Anyway, it was great. I visited
websites that mention Scotland.
But we get there and it's like it costs a few pounds to go in, and also we would not be allowed to take any bags in. That was a sign. It was like out in front. It was like no personal bags allowed. And I was like, I don't know where the fuck to leave our stuff. Like my wallet is in here. I don't know what to do. So we didn't actually go into the castle, and that was disappointing.
I'll send you a link, Jeff.
Yeah, but we got a lot of cool like pictures like of around the castle and on the bridge and the city underneath, and I just geeked out on the architecture most of the time. Honestly, it was so cool. And oh gosh, there was a guy. Oh, and my gosh, we didn't have any. Yeah, hang on.
No.
We didn't have any cash. We didn't have any cash because we were using like my bank card the whole time because it's a Visa bank card, and I had like talked to my bank and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in these cities." This adorable little ignorant, and I say that in the nicest way, not stupid, just ignorant.
Scotsman.
No, this adorable little American girl said, "So you're going to Edinburgh?" It's like, yeah, sure. That's adorable. You're 20. Okay, so
You're so
went,
cute.
So anyway, I was telling her, well, actually, we're going to be in Heathrow. So we're going to be in London. We're going to be in Edinburgh. And then on the way back, and we're going to be in South Carolina. And then on the way back, we're going to be in Chicago. And then we're going to be in Memphis. So you just need to know all this stuff. Well, we were using my bank card the whole time. And then we found these guys just on the Royal Mile, and they were doing like the touristy shit. Well, they had owls.
Hey, Mindful.
They had trained. Oh, Be Mindful is amazing. They had trained owls that if you had cash money to give them, they would put a glove on you and put their owl on your arm, because I watched the guy do it.
Oh, never mind.
And they'd take a selfie on your phone with you and the owl. And one was a golden owl and one was a white owl, like a snow owl or a barn owl. And oh my gosh, they were beautiful. They were out during the day, so they were kind of sleepy, which is probably good because owls, don't always like to be messed with. But their handlers seemed to really know what they were doing.
Good thing,
Yeah.
But that was the one bummer where I was like, God damn it, we don't have cash. Fuck.
Never mess with an owl.
I wouldn't have messed with it. I just like owls, and I would have liked to have one on my arm for a minute.
We're trying to figure out
you
the
need to
exact
kick me
name
out
for a
sometime.
bird handler.
All I can hear over there with Nathaniel is just.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to you got this cool, so you can't see because we got this.
Falconer?
Thank you.
What's going
on? Front, so. Yeah, they're falconers. Thank you very much.
Hello.
I was sitting there beating myself in the head.
How you doing, man? Stuck at home, eh?
Yeah. It's like 3:30 in the morning here, and I can't sleep. So.
Oh, sorry, love.
So let's hang out with the idiot guy from Canada. Why not?
Hey, look, we got a Canadian, we got 3 Americans. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we got Rory in the UK. So.
Whereabouts is Scummer from?
He's
Southampton.
There you go.
Southampton. Well, there we go, fellow Englishman.
So,
I was going to say your neck of the woods, but it's a whole continent.
I have a question. Is Southampton like North Carolina? South of Hampton, Virginia?
No, it's South Coast.
It's nowhere near North Carolina.
So it's Florida.
I was actually saying to Julie that I was born in Scotland, although my parents are English. But
I heard you. I saw that.
Yeah, I was just born just across the Firth of Forth, actually, from Edinburgh, in a place called Dunfermline.
Oh, nice. God, we just fell in love with it. I mean, we were only there for 4 nights and 5 days, but we absolutely fell in love with it. I lost like 15 pounds just walking around. It was amazing. I was like, we need to move here. And Junk Shop was like, it's too fucking cold. I'm from Tennessee. So there's a bit of a, I have this romantic notion that someday I might be able to afford to retire. And if that happens, I want to do it in Scotland, but he's not going to go for it. So it's all right.
Yeah. That's, it's nice if you actually get a chance to go up into the sort of Highlands itself. It's really nice up there. But, that's my one regret is that we didn't do a Highland day trip, and I really wanted to see that bit because that's where my grandmother's people are actually from. So I kind of wanted to. Well, it's probably best because the last time I sort of did the Highlands is to sort of spend a couple of days in sort of one place, then move. Stayed in a place called Fort William, which is on the west coast in the Highlands, and then
I know Fort William.
Then spent a few days in Inverness, obviously just across the other side. But
Yep.
it does involve a nice trip past Loch Ness.
Oh my gosh, what is happening? We're talking about Inverness and stuff, and I see signals happening. What are we doing?
We're flying the Falcon.
We're flying the Millennium Falcon.
Oh,
They're
Yeah.
attempting to hit hyperspace, but of course,
Yeah, you didn't see that. Chewie got pissed the fuck off. Yeah, there it is.
I'll try
I gotta
not.
get back. I gotta
try
go
not-
back through this little hallway right here.
I'll try not to. I'll try not to make the joke I made earlier when I was in the chat in Mama Atheist stream, because I swear I ended up summoning someone. So,
dude, yeah,
sure,
that
who
was
did you summon?
weird.
Stupid Frank.
Don't
Well,
ask.
we won't.
Oh.
We'll just say I sort of. So everyone's going on about their favourite Sith lords, and I sort of jokingly made a remark.
Steve
Of,
McRae?
no, made somebody else who uses the
mine.
title
Was this
Darth.
certain Darth, not
Oh,
Vader?
I still haven't had an interaction with him.
And I swear,
I
within
have.
like a minute of me
It's not
making that
pleasant.
joke in the chat, he and his half his
Sick.
souls were in there.
Stop! Don't! Wow! Seriously, Sith lords will appear.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
they will.
No,
And,
no,
like
no,
a
yeah.
summons
no. My moderators have banned all his monikers from here.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We've never
we
met.
were
Oh, yes,
trying to
Darth
like,
dipshit. Good to know.
yeah,
He keeps
yeah, like
making new
Jeff
ones,
and I were
so-
just trying to like talk about Star Wars. Everybody was just trying to talk about Star Wars, and in the chat we were all just trying to talk about Star Wars, and then here comes asshole. It's like,
I have-
why, man?
Is that a
Which is-
Gorgoroth shirt?
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask that. You know, it's really
love
odd.
of black metal.
It's
Hell yeah! I'm
it's
telling
super
you.
odd.
Like you and Junk Shop and there's somebody else need to do a metal stream. That'd be amazing.
That would be cool.
You do one with Dilla Honey. That's what he does. But it's so odd that I've never met that person because I'm like a magnet for really shitty apologists, and I've never met that person. I never want
If
to.
you-
In time he'll appear.
No,
Yeah,
I've
in
never-
time, it will happen.
'Cause I
He
got
crashed-
to meet the free thinker.
He crashed one of my streams.
Hey B.
Yeah. He likes to, the way he talks to you, he tries to circle you into this unanswerable fucking area,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know what, just fuck off, goofball.
Yeah, or he wants to just interrupt whatever you're doing and say,
Yeah.
debate me now. And if you say no, we're doing something else, then he'll just say you're a coward,
Yep.
I am
and
Well,
he'll
his little
fill
dudes
in
used
the
to put-
chat with that.
These
That's what
little
he-
dudes used to put
that's what he
pictures
was
of
doing
chicken
to me.
and shit.
That's
Yeah.
what he was doing to me actually a few weeks ago when I had Mama Atheist on, and it was just sort of a bit of a chat, and we did talk things like Star Wars or whatever. It was just a general chat, one-on-one chat kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then he coming in there, and it's like, debate me now, and I'm like, no, I didn't realise the first person to come in. I didn't realise it was anything to do with him, and I thought it was someone I was going to. Then I saw the account Duncan Atheist coming, and I'm like, no,
Mhm.
I know that.
And Jason
him. He's not
M.
welcome.
Jason
Yeah.
M is another stock account of his, so look out for that one.
By the beer.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's
The heck,
actually,
Neil?
yeah, that one was kicked from my
I
account.
got more.
from my-
It's gotta go.
I don't have it. So I don't have any.
Yeah, he came into one of Junk Shop streams one night when I was a moderator, and I was like, "Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." I mean, I didn't say that. I was just like hiding all of his comments and like giving him timeouts because he's an angry child.
He's not right.
He's not interested in having like honest discussions though.
No.
His motivation is trying. He wants to try and humiliate atheists. Is what he wants to do. I mean, he's not very good at it, but
Those
that's what his motivation is.
Wait, are they?
And how we
Hold on, super important. Ken, are they at the Death Star right now?
What?
In that, who's watching Star Wars?
Because your
Don't-
husband
My
watches
husband.
Star Wars, right?
Husband is watching Star Wars.
They're
it's
at the-
not us.
He just
They're at the
heard
Death
R2.
Star. They're at the Death Star. I've heard all that music. They're at the Death Star. I know it.
Hey,
If you can guess what movie they're watching,
Jack?
I'm very excited.
somebody else want to do a metal?
It sounds like a New Hope.
Yeah.
No, so they're at the Death Star then. Because I heard R2 though. It's not Empire because you got messed up.
No. Yeah.
I'll help.
Right.
It's a newer movie. It's not one of the classics.
Oh,
Oh
yeah. We had a whole thing. Let's not go there. We had a whole thing today. About what was canon versus what wasn't. It was the thing. It was fun though.
Well, it was just, that badger can get very, very touchy on that subject.
He got very growly, and at one point I was like, I actually enjoyed this one, and I was like, Badger's gonna hate me forever now, damn it.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He didn't.
1 second. Something just dawned on me. Jeff, I think it's the first time you've been to one of my screens.
I think it is actually, yeah.
Well, welcome, man.
Yeah, I just realized.
Anytime.
I think this is the first time Jeff and I.
Cheers.
Jeff, is this the first time we've been on a stream together? A stream together?
No, we've been on Dave's.
Oh yes, yes. Sorry.
Mr. Worley.
You are correct.
No, critical.
Oh, the other
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
My day.
Yeah, the other Dave. The
My
Dave
These
that's
are
the
the days
glue
I
that-
know. These are the days I know.
Hey, I'm the one who's been screwing up names all night, so you don't have anything to apologize for. But like, the Dave that is the
Probably
glue
get
that
$10
holds all
if
of
you
it
could tell me
together.
what that's from.
Oh, say it. Do it again.
These are the days I know. These are the days I know.
Damn it! I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I know
from a
I do,
Canadian
but-
It's from a Canadian TV show, so.
God damn it.
Well, eventually,
It's not
I'll give you a
Second City, is it?
hint. I'll give you a hint. Eventually, Lorne Michaels bought the rights for them.
Oh.
The
Saturday Night Live.
ambiguously gay duo.
Oh no, Lorne Michaels has always owned Saturday Night Live.
I know.
Is it a
Yeah.
is it
It's
a nursery rhyme or something?
Kids
I'm
in
gonna-
the Hall.
Oh, Kids in the fucking Hall. That's why I knew that. Damn it. Oh, okay.
See, I
I owe you $10. That did. Oh, I should have known that.
I just realised when I made a joke earlier in the chat. I think Rory might have been would probably be the only person who actually got it. But when Julie inadvertently called you Dave earlier, I put in there.
That was bad.
But Julie says, "All right, Trigger."
Oh, is that what that was about?
Yeah.
What that was.
I don't know how well that's known outside of the UK. Like so.
Well,
I didn't know it.
It's a bit like Karen, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I
Karen
feel
is going
shitty about
around the internet these days.
Karen, no,
Yeah.
that's been an always thing. It makes its rounds.
Does
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
know the source of that? Like divine disbelief? Do you know where the Karen thing came? Because I recently had a moment where I was like, I kind of feel bad for the nice Karens in the world.
Like
There are
my
no such
mom.
thing. No, there's no such thing. Neil, your mom is a myth.
Thing.
My mom spells her name with a CARON.
See, there you go. See, it's not the same thing. It has to
Okay,
spell
not
the
the
same.
same. Not
Yeah.
the same. That's fine.
I don't know. It's it just so happened that it's just.
The best meme
It's
I've seen with a
Karen.
Karen
Becky.
is a cat sitting perched outside of the window. A little cat, and he's perched outside the window. He goes, "Hey, Karen, don't forget my cat food."
Aw, that's terrible.
Dude, this is too bad.
I am now very allergic, but
I'm
I've had
just
cats
going to
most
mute
of
for a
my
second
adult
because
life.
I'm going outside. So
Are you? Oh, I see. Yeah.
Oh,
can,
you're fine. I don't even do that. I'm smoking in my kitchen, which is terrible.
I can't. I'll get fucking booted out of here if I smoke.
That one in 20.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have housemates or roommates or what have you.
No, it's in our contract.
Oh, fuck.
It's a no
It's in
smoking
your lease?
building. Yeah, no smoking building.
Oh, okay. Yeah. you really
Everything
cannot.
that's built around here now is no smoking.
Now I feel kind of
Nice.
bad for all the cigarettes I've had in front of you tonight. I'm sorry.
You cannot. The only place you're going to find you basically you have to go outside to smoke, and not only that, you can't be on the property.
Oh. Good Lord. Okay, the way I got around that at certain workplaces where that's happened, like it says non-smoking campus or whatever, I would go into my car and roll the windows down and smoke in my car because in Tennessee, the law is your car is your personal property and you can do whatever the fuck you want. And that doesn't, other than like
There's
murder someone or.
I've heard of this before, and my uncle, who's a lawyer, said that's not true. Your property
really?
is parked on their property.
Oh.
You have to abide by the rules. You
Okay,
can drive your
well,
car
you're right.
outside on the street and do it.
I got away with it using that,
Yeah.
but apparently no one noticed.
Neil's right, because it's the same way in South Carolina, because there's a technical college that I went to. They explicitly said you can't smoke in your car, and everybody was like, excuse me, the fuck?
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, no.
No, you can smoke in your car here as long as there's no kids in there. You'll be heavily fined.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
when you're parked at the school,
Yeah.
you can't smoke in your car because it's a no smoking
Was it-
campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
same,
it
in
used
the,
to- it used to have
same in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually find that
I
kind of
agree with-
fair because, like, I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about it. But if I did have children, I would not smoke inside my
No.
house.
Oh no, I told
Oh,
my husband.
I mean, I live in an apartment, but I wouldn't. Yeah, because it's one thing. Like, it's my body. I get to abuse it if I want to, but I'm not putting that on anybody else. And my nieces and nephews too. I tell them all the time, like,
Oh, hey.
they're mostly adults now. Hey, Jen. But like, if I tell them all the time, like, if I ever catch you smoking, we are gonna have a talk. It's stupid. It's like I'm addicted to it, and I use it to deal with my anxiety. But I don't want anyone else doing it if they can help it.
Except there's now a theory that nicotine can protect you from the coronavirus.
I swear. to
Oh,
God.
actually, they're saying the opposite here.
Have you? No.
Oh no, I believe you,
Apparently,
Rory. I'm just saying, like, the information we're getting here, they've said the opposite.
It protects your lungs from other infections, and people are actually now saying,
Hold it.
Nicotine.
Hold it. Nicotine does not stay in the lungs.
No, it
It's
does
absorbed in your
paralyze
bloodstream.
cilia.
But
The
it,
tar
all
goes
right.
into your lungs.
Yeah.
Well, okay, all right. Maybe I was wrong there, but all right. Whatever it does, apparently protects your lungs from the coronavirus, and people are actually saying here in the United Kingdom, wear a nicotine patch, just to get nicotine into your body.
No.
Oh,
Not as good as the Lysol inhalers.
Well, Neil, it's probably all conspiracy theory, but you know that's what's what's going on.
Well, tell
Okay,
them to
I just
stop it.
worry that. I'm sorry, Neil.
They don't want to get addicted to nicotine. Tell them to stop it.
Yeah, I do worry that some people who haven't smoked, if they just slap on a nicotine patch willy
It's the
nilly,
weed, man. The weed will
They're,
protect you from everything.
they might get sick. They might get sick.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you can't just go full on nicotine
Well,
all
no,
at once.
you're absolutely right.
Watch me do it. I heard it'll stop the corona.
You heard that on YouTube. Oh no.
That's all right. Hey, my president.
I watched
my
the YouTube
president,
video once. I researched this.
The goddamn leader of my country said you should inject fucking,
Oh.
geez.
That's fucking
Do you know
awesome.
how many people? Do you know? It's insane. We've had so many people in the U.S. show up in emergency rooms because they poisoned themselves because they drank or injected disinfectant after he said that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, they did.
Really? You don't believe
Not
that? This is
shocking.
America.
This is how stupid my country is.
Yeah, we elected Donald
Not
Trump.
all of them.
Not all of them.
Our
Thank
curate
you.
in chief is an idiot.
An idiot. And yes, ma'am. And unfortunately,
yes, Nathaniel, we see it.
a lot
Oh,
of
I just
people
left my beard on
say,
the thing. I didn't even realize. I was
Oh,
like,
what's that? What's that up there?
It's
It's
not
a
beard.
sand trooper and a dewback.
no, it's not.
I like your beard,
My bad.
but show the toy. Your beard is amazing.
This is not a toy.
Oh, there
I'm
we
sorry.
go.
I want to see the cool
Is.
thing. Oh, hello. That is adorable.
There we go. So this is a dewback. They added dewbacks live on.
I love
Tatooine.
Freaky Blinders channel.
So
he's
it's-
hilarious too. I chat with him all the time.
Yeah, it's,
And then the
Tiny.
little dewback is a little bobblehead.
yeah.
Nice.
And this is the.
This is bobble.
This
It's
is
not bobbling.
no. I don't think the dewback does, but I know the
Oh, I-
stormtrooper does.
I am not ashamed to
Well,
say that
dewback.
Cricky
There's
Blinder
stormtrooper.
is the only person I've ever seen with face tattoos to whom I was also sexually attracted.
Oh no, he does. Yeah, it's a bobble.
He has
He's
face
got a rock
tattoos
guy.
Extra bobble.
and he is gorgeous. And I don't. Yeah. So take that for what you will.
That's because he's got Welsh in him like me.
So how are sand?
There's a bad joke there, but I'm not going to do it.
He's full on Welsh. I'm only like
Yeah, he is full. He is full on Welsh. Yeah, you're part
I
Welsh.
mean, like how are they different from storm? How are sand troopers different from storm troopers?
Keep telling him they're on Tatooine.
Well, yeah,
Sand
it has
troopers
to
is
do with
just a
geography.
nickname they give them on Tatooine.
Oh, okay, because they're basically the same thing. They just
It's like
They just have extra gear to keep the
It's
sand
just-
out of their equipment.
It's sort of the same difference between a regular stormtrooper and a sand trooper. I mean, a snow trooper.
I'm having a Spaceballs moment. I'm just like, we ain't found shit. And that's where I went. That's where my brain went.
This guy, he's got a little orange thing, so he's a different designation, a different rank or something, right? Yeah.
Different designation.
Yeah, he's got a.
He's been designated to fucking Tatooine. That's where he's been designated.
Yeah, he's got a big ass like spear, so he's.
He's a bright center to the universe. You're on the planet that's farthest from.
It's got.
Hey, why did they send me to a planet with 3 fucking suns?
Three is a 2.
Oh, it's a.
Yeah.
It was a good little meme. It was a good
Oh,
little
hey,
meme.
sweetie. I mean, when you have to be a moisture farmer, we might be looking
Right
at
there,
our
yes.
future
Over there.
with
Look.
Tatooine. I mean, not with the 3 suns, obviously, but like, it's gonna get bad.
Come on.
Yeah.
Go
Hello.
ahead, Jeff.
Hello. I was going to say, it was a good little meme I shared earlier about stormtroopers and 2 stormtroopers saying, fancy a game of darts later? Yeah, sure, why not? And then there's a picture of a dartboard with like hundreds of darts, but not one dart in the actual board.
Okay, I have to. This is not a happy, upbeat question, but it's a nerdy question, and I have to ask it. So, did anyone else growing up watching Star Wars? You're watching Star Wars, and you hear that term, the Empire's dreaded stormtroopers or whatever. Did you not instantly flash to the Showa, or was it just me?
Well, for me.
Because I mean, that's where he got that term, right? That has to be where Lucas got that term.
Empire and whatnot, or what?
No, from
stormtroopers.
Like,
from the Nazis.
Nazis.
He got it from the Nazis. Sorry,
Yeah.
the Holocaust Showa.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Stormtroopers was actually first. Stormtroopers actually was first used in World War One by the German army. So
just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I
This is
did
the
not
best
know
Stormtrooper
that.
versus red shirt meme.
The
Stormtrooper
red shirt
misses,
still dies.
red shirt dies anyways.
And of course the Empire and the Senate and all that stuff.
Thank you, Neil.
That's all from Rome. So
yeah,
he invented.
Yeah, okay.
Like if there was an Oscar for like best original screenplay, he didn't invent any of that.
No. It was completely I mean, he was reading. He literally said I was reading Joseph Campbell's Hero with 1,000 Faces and wrote this. That's why the first 3 or so. Anyway, thank you for clearing me up on that. I did not know that German soldiers were called stormtroopers in World War I, and I've actually listened. I was a history minor in college, so I'm a little shocked that I didn't know that. But that is, thank you. I'm glad to know.
Yeah, they were a specialist sort of.
Sort of
kind of like Navy SEALs kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, but infantry.
Yeah. No, whenever I hear the Imperial March, I think of the Tennessee Marching Band. Yeah, you didn't expect me to know that, did you?
No, I did not. And we actually, at our wedding, we managed to, because there was a freak ice storm, literally 2 days before, and we didn't know if we were going to be able to have our wedding at the historic cemetery where we got married. We a friend of mine from grad school who runs the events there called me, and she's like, I couldn't get into work today. The bridge is icy. I don't know what to do. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just see what happens tomorrow. It'll be fine. And freak ice storm during spring break, and they I start to walk down the aisle with my father. This was my second wedding. We've both done this. But I'm starting to walk down the aisle with my father, and I stop, and my dad stops with me, and I tell everyone in the room, we forgot about music. and my brother starts humming the Imperial March, and it was perfect. I was like, yes,
Julie.
thank you.
Yeah, a little bit of competition there.
You got competition.
Oh yeah, that's the cutest thing on the easily. Sorry, babes.
Oh no, it's fine.
Oh no, I will readily admit.
Yeah.
The tiny human, she is far cuter than I am.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's on my thighs and is bouncing with her entire body. Like her knees and all. Like every part of her is bouncing.
Cheeks are amazing.
I am not
like
offended in the least.
And I can feel her heartbeat pounding.
I had cheeks like that in 1966.
How old were you? Like 10?
No, like 1.
I know. You're younger than my mom is. You're fine. For those of you who don't
Neil,
know,
we
by
could
the way,
totally be siblings.
for those of you that are not in the United States, so Tennessee is the volunteer state, and they are their football team, or their University of Tennessee is the Volunteers, and they're marching.
I went to U of M, so you need to be talking about the fucking Tigers, motherfucker.
No, I talk about teams that matter.
I will fight you. Oh my God, no, you did not just say that.
I'm from Nebraska, so I can talk shit on Tennessee all day.
Neil, I'm not a child.
No, hold on.
But
you got headphones on. Never mind.
Whenever the Tennessee
I fully
defense goes
retract
out there, they play the Imperial March because that's like their theme or whatever.
Yeah, because the Volunteers are a bunch of pussies who need that kind of evil to back them up.
Yeah,
like I was there when we crushed them in 1997. Okay.
No, he didn't. Not 1997.
It was either 96 or 97 because I was either a freshman or a sophomore.
I was there though.
No, it was.
They played at
96. They lost to Florida, and then Florida went on and won the national championship. 97, Tennessee beat Florida, and they lost to somebody else before losing 42-17 to Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, Peyton Manning's last game in college.
Okay, all I can say is that at some point in my very weed-soaked years of college, we beat the shit out of the Vols when I was an undergrad. And I was an undergrad from 1996 to 2000, and it happened in the first 2 years.
Could have been 99.
I remember that.
No,
it was not 99. It was not, because I graduated high school in 1996 and started college in the fall of 96. And it happened that the first 2 years because I was taking because I know exactly which classes I was taking, and it
could have been 96. I can see that because they got beat to death by Florida in 95. Like they were up 14-0. They lost like 72 or something to 21. It could have been 96. Possible. That was like Arizona State's
Thank you.
Thank you. There you
yes,
go.
I
but
believe
it was 97.
Now look, I will say this though, to your point. We very rarely beat the Volunteers. We very rarely beat them. So, like, the time we did is seared into everyone's memory. It's like, I mean, this is more than 20 years ago, and I don't give a fuck about sports. And I'm like, yeah, we fucking beat the Bulls that one time. So I get it.
That's Alabama, isn't it? Roll Tide.
Yeah, you bet.
You're from Canada.
So?
You can't be an Alabama fan and be from Canada. It's literally
I actually like about 4 college teams.
Don't you said you like Nebraska,
Alabama,
right?
Nebraska.
Thank you.
Huskies.
Washington, I bet it is.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they're from England.
Go ahead and guess my 4th one.
It's not Ohio State.
No.
University of Texas.
Oh, I swear to God.
Damn it.
It's Nebraska.
It's in the state you're in right now.
Oh,
Ducks.
okay.
It better be the
Ducks.
no, it better be the Beavers.
Puddles.
Yeah, all right, okay.
The Beavers. Okay, I get it.
Because
there's the Canadian connection.
Yeah, so Oregon, by the way, they have. So Oregon is the Beaver state. People think that it's not, but
they're nature's engineers.
Yeah, that's Oregon State's the Beavers, and they're bad.
You say that about a lot of animals.
Yeah, that's true.
You could,
but the Ducks are the more well-known team, and Susan, they have Donald Duck as their mascot, but they can't name
just him. Now, Rory.
But they can't name him Donald Duck.
So he's Puddles.
That's what we call a double entendre, Rory.
Especially with the Beavers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Double entendre
I
again.
didn't even put that to.
Did you not? Seriously?
Nature's
Neil,
engineer.
I thought you knew me
Have
better
you guys
than that.
seen the video on YouTube about the Canadian beaver that's welcoming everyone to Canada?
No.
Okay, look up Canadian beaver welcomes people to Canada on highway and on YouTube, and it's fucking funny. Also, there's a great new music video that came out of a band out of Clark W, I think they're called, out of Calgary, called Up Here in Canada. That's the funniest fucking thing I've seen this year.
No.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah,
Very nice.
good.
Check that out.
I will check it out. Up here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say that, like, honestly, hockey. My first serious boyfriend was really into hockey, so he took me to a lot of games.
Were the other boyfriends not so serious, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I had boyfriends that weren't boyfriends. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a virgin when I was dating this guy. He was just like the first guy to like commit to like a relationship or whatever. But so we we went to ice hockey games, and I gotta say that was the first time I genuinely was excited by a sport. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching hockey. I don't know why. I just did. I never enjoyed watching football. Yeah, apparently, because I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, the Summer Classic is pretty awesome, by the way.
I've actually been to like an ice hockey match in the UK, the town in Hampshire called Basingstoke, and I think they're really nuts on their hockey because I think it's like the only sort of sports team they've got there. It's not really a big sport in the UK at all. But
yeah, well, it's not in the southern United States either. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
obviously
sorry,
here it's main, obviously football's the main, soccer's, that's the main sport here.
You can call it football. Americans were dumb.
No, I call it football too because it makes more sense. Like American football is stupid, and it causes horrible brain injuries and concussions, and then people later have problems, and they
so boxing and wrestling.
Oh,
and
it's just some brain
and
damage. It's fine.
any sport can do that, by the way.
But it's also you want to say, why do you need so much padding to play rugby? Like, why don't you just play rugby? It's fucked up, and I agree. Like, I completely agree. Like,
I used to play rugby.
We don't have padding in rugby.
No, you don't. That's the point. Like American footballers, like they want to think that they're, all that or whatever, but they're not.
There is rugby players do wear some padding, but it's not like the sort of full on body armor that
like I've seen shin guards for rugby, but haven't, and I imagine they wear a cup. I wouldn't ask.
They have shoulder pads, but they're soft.
I used to wear a scrum cap when I played, which was a little bit of head protection, but
yeah, and that's fair. That's absolutely fair. But because it is a rough sport, but there's no need for a sport to get like how American football is, and I don't understand. I honestly don't, and I think this is just because I'm not that into sports, but also because I used to watch baseball with my grandfather, and it's like I don't get how. Baseball stopped being the American national pastime and football became it. I don't get that transition at all.
I don't know about that.
I know.
And I lived through it, but I don't get it.
I actually don't. I've got to be pretty rare amongst Brits. I actually don't mind baseball. Although I do sometimes wind Americans up by calling it rounders. But
rounders,
that's fine. But like, baseball is interesting, and you need math and stats and stuff, and it's interesting to see what they can do. And like, I played softball for only one summer, but it was enough to like have an idea of like, oh my god, like this is a thing. I also have a baseball glove that my grandpa left me from the 1930s, so it's like stuffed with goose down. And it's all like nicely oiled, and it's got 5 fingers. It's a 5-finger baseball glove.
Oh, yeah,
you don't see anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously,
6-fingered man would be able to wear it.
No.
No, he would not.
only
My name
game
is
we've got.
Inigo Montoya.
Thank
Plus,
you, God. Man,
yes, you killed my father. Prepare to die. Absolutely. Yeah.
Go, Jeff.
See, I live about a mile away from where I live. There's a quite big cricket stadium, Hampshire County. Cricket's a bit of a bigger thing here.
Yeah, I think I would like cricket if I understood it. I don't think I
I'd-
quite get it, but
I'd
I've
say-
enjoyed what I've seen.
I'd say it's better than watch what is the 20 over matches, which are a bit more. But 5-day test matches are even I can find them a bit tedious. It's like 5 days and it ends up being a draw or something. It's like, oh, come on. But you've got like 20 over cricket, which is real fast, real fast and furious kind of cricket, and and the game's over in about 2 or 3 hours. It's far more sort of exciting, I think. And I think, considering sort of people's attention spans or whatever, cricket needed to kind of introduce something like a bit more along those lines to, because I think especially a lot of kids are not going to sit there and watch a 5-day test match.
Well,
Cricket's pretty cool.
I agree. I mean, I've been to Lords to watch cricket on occasion, and you don't want to do it for more than a day because you've got to stay in London hotel rooms and all that. No, much better. Yeah, I think 1-day matches are much better.
Well, the 20 over matches, they're usually they say because now we've got like floodlights, so whatever at cricket grounds, it's like they can start it off at like say 7 o'clock, and they're usually done by about 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest. So
is that 9:30? I'm just making sure that I'm on this. It's not 8:30. It's 9:30. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like 8:30. Is 9:30.
9:30. 8:30 is 9:30. Yes.
Got it. You guys got to like. I mean,
Americans, they don't understand the British slang. Being from Canada, we're inundated with British humor and British shows and because we're still technically part of the Commonwealth. So
I gathered that. Neil, but you like the young ones, so I gathered you got some British shows.
The young ones, fuck yeah.
Yeah, the young ones was awesome.
We were just talking about Rick Mail earlier. We were talking about Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah,
and I was all like, "Oh, Rick Mail! I love that guy."
I saw Rick Mail live when he was performing. I don't know if you got that over there, but there was a show called The New Statesman he did in the 80s. I saw him perform that.
It was great,
brilliant.
No.
That guy is hilarious.
Crumpets have nothing to do with cricket.
I know what a crumpet is, but I don't understand cricket, so I completely disagree with that statement.
I know what cricket is.
Yeah,
you can buy crumpets here.
You know the rules and stuff like that.
No, they're annoying little fucking insects. I'm aware of what cricket is. I've seen the World Championships in India for like the last 7 years, and I've said, "How do you get to 175 points? This isn't James Harden. How does this work?"
I think I know what a googly is because of an old movie.
It's like they're running fucking sprints back and forth. Like I did this in football. Okay, no, just look. You have a pitcher and a batter. Diamond. Go do that. This is easier to do.
I remember there was much older than baseball.
I know it is.
Oh yeah, I remember there was an old comedy sketch, I think from the 1970s, with Peter Sellers and Goldie Hawn, where he's explaining like the LBW rule to Goldie Hawn, and she's just like, "I don't get." And she
back
said,
in her playing the dumb blonde phase.
Yeah,
and she was doing the cute dances on that 70. Anyway, go ahead.
You need to explain LBW.
It means leg before wicket rule, which I won't go through the whole thing. But he's explaining sort of cricket. He's explaining the LBW, and she's like, okay. Her comment at the end of it says, "That sounds very similar to how we elect a president."
Fair.
There you go. See? Makes no sense. Nobody wants it. Very nice. Welcome to America.
Fuck. Okay. I do have a question though. Like leg before wicket. Like the point is to not let all pieces of the wicket get knocked down, right? You want to bat the ball away and then run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You can't block the ball with your leg to stop it from hitting the wicket.
Right.
What the
That
fuck's-
would be a foul.
Yeah,
Look,
Or
Yeah,
hold
or-
on.
equivalent.
No, not-
you're out if you do that.
yeah, you do that, you're done.
Wicket is
Okay.
a character in Star Wars.
Yes, the little furry guy. Yeah, but they're talking about a different type of wicket.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this
Yeah,
out.
it's
I'm a
the
sports guy, and I don't understand.
it's the one
There's
that Leia
mathematics.
gives the rice cake to. It's so obviously a rice cake. It's so cute, and
Cool.
she's like, "Want some food?" And that's how she and Wicket bond. It's so adorable.
Do you know how I learned mathematics?
Mm.
American football.
School? Oh,
If you tell me
Wow.
like 42 to 24, I can tell you how many touchdowns, how many field goals you need to get there. Right? That's just how
Nice.
many points it is. Right? And it was like 7, 14, 20, 28. That's what I know. If we're down 49 to 14, first off, we've lost. Secondarily, I know how many numbers that is to get back up there and how many touchdowns it is. I learned math that way.
I
It's
should
like-
have been more into sports. This is
No,
why I suck at math.
Yes. Yeah, that's and then like 11, you got 11 and 11. I don't know how many people play cricket. Like it's like 20 people on the field. And you got 11 cool is 22. Any more than that, it's foul. And how is that foul? It's 5 yards. How many feet are in a yard? There we go. See? So I did math.
This is why.
That's 'cause you're like one of like three fucking.
football.
You guys like one of 3 fucking countries that still use the imperial sign.
I know.
think we're like the only
I know.
one, aren't we?
Nope.
I-
Myanmar.
No, I actually remember.
Nobody even knows what Myanmar is.
Yes, I
I
do.
do. And go ahead, Neil.
Myanmar. Of course, you guys, and the other one I'm having issue remembering right now.
B?
Starts with a B.
Yeah.
This is
B.
Bhutan.
Well,
only so
I
many.
will say this: it's very frustrating because Junk Shop was doing one of his Bible things today that he does, and they're amazing and hilarious. But the whole
Liberia.
chapter, well, yeah, was about building King Solomon's house, and like he built it's crazy. So anyway. And it was all, cubits this, cubits that. And I'm like, dude, how long is an actual cubit? And he's like, basically, it's from your forearm to the end of your hand. And I said, okay, so it was like an imperial system. And he said, yes. And he said, what biblical scholars
Yeah, but how many
use-
stone was it?
Well, that's fair. That's an absolutely fair question because, like, when we say a foot, it was like, what, the length of a king's foot? But now we say that's 12 inches. So
Mine's 13.
what scholars have done is they've just gone, okay, a cubit is roughly 18 inches, so we're just going to go with that.
There you go.
I know,
Wow.
it's frustrating. It's so weird.
I don't know why we use the
makes no
imperial
sense.
system because we want to be unique and because we're stubborn assholes.
Exactly. No, you are absolutely right. Because when I was in 2nd grade, they started teaching us the metric system. This was in 1985. So they were absolutely sure that we were going to be turning over to the metric system.
Sorry,
And
Red, I
then-
totally forgot about that.
Sorry. And then by 3rd grade, they stopped. They stopped teaching us that. And yeah. And it's because the country basically went no.
Well, yeah, and so Sears was actually a big part of that, believe it or not. Sears,
Yeah.
Yep. 'Cause
Oh,
if you-
yeah.
Sears in Canada was fine with it.
Yeah, of course. But here it's like, oh, we got to sell both of them. You take half of them away. What are we going to do? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have to sell both of them. Yeah, because you have some things that can only work in the metric system here, and then some things that can only work in the imperial. And
All
so
your science is done in metric.
Neil,
Yes.
I'm with you. I measure things like this in kilometers.
I
Okay?
agree.
So, and I even say this is what it is for my American idiot. friend.
What's a
Except-
kilometer?
Except that builders do not think in metric. They're thinking 8x4, 2x4 inches.
Okay.
That's because
And-
Yeah,
that's
that's
what they
fair.
named them. So we still
Yeah,
do
but
that.
Well,
Go and
but-
get me
but-
the 5/8 sheet of drywall.
Yeah, but Neil, no. If you go out in England today and we're meant to be metricated, you buy a sheet of 8x4.
Yep.
To make something with.
Yep,
And
yep.
but it's in metric, but it's still 8x4.
no,
Yeah,
and
no, yeah.
Rory's right. The same is true for theater. We did the same thing when we were doing carpentry for theater. settings
President.
and stuff. Like you got to buy a 2x4 or an 8x4 or whatever you need.
Yeah. Because they were named that way, and that name just stuck with those types of materials.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's
but my point is, it's still the same 8x4 dimension, but it's just measured in meters, but it's still 8x4.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. We just need to switch over.
You can't buy a 2 centimeter by 4 centimeter piece of wood. You just can't. It's 2 by 4 inches. Right?
Yeah, it's like
measured in centimeters. I mean,
well, you can measure it in centimeters, sure, but they still call it a 2x4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did it get to be after 10?
It's not. It's 8 o'clock.
And for me,
10
West
past
Coast.
4 here.
That's best guess.
11 o'clock over. Cat's over there.
It doesn't have to be 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Rory, Jeff, you guys are troopers.
Yeah.
You really are. You're amazing.
Yeah, but we need to go eat. We need to go eat. We have to eat.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We have
okay.
Dunksoft and I have plans too. We're gonna watch a stupid horror movie tonight and listen to
Don't do that.
and then listen to a podcast, Rip It a New Asshole. That's one of our favorite things. So I'm so sorry. Neil, thank you so much for letting me come on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it was your show tonight.
I don't know, because I tend to get too drunk on your stream and then I feel weird.
Then I feel weird after I'm drunk.
I do. Yes. No, I feel weird.
It's fine. It's fine.
I feel weird. Thank you. Okay, I feel weird after I've sobered up, and I'm like, was I too drunk? I don't know. It felt fine for me. Did it feel okay for everyone else? It's just gnawing insecurity. It's just hardcore self-insecurity. Anyway, my gosh, Susan, you're amazing, and I love everything you do. And I already DM'd you about doing a collab. So if you guys are up for that, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
And I would really appreciate it. And Neil, you're fucking amazing, and I love you very much. And big hugs. And Rory, you are a beautiful, beautiful man, and big hugs. And and Jeff, your name is actually spelled properly, so big hugs to you too. And Catnip, big hugs to you and that precious, precious little girl in your lap.
You would believe how many people call me Geoff.
Oh, dear. Oh,
I do it to my buddy who's spelled
because
the same way, but I do it intentionally, and we kind of.
I took Middle English, and I know that it's pronounced Jeff. And
Yeah,
you're spelling it correctly.
There is a copy of
Yeah,
Canterbury
like
Tales lying
Jeffrey
around somewhere,
Chaucer.
so- yeah,
No.
there is a copy of that lying around on this bookcase somewhere, but I don't know quite where it is.
Lamar Dato. All right. Anyway, Catnip, it was so lovely to be in a stream with you and stuff, and you're amazing. I'm gonna split, guys.
you.
And the little wee human.
And the wee human who is so beautiful.
She's getting grumpy.
Good night, Julie.
He's the future. All right. Good night, Rory. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Yep, we have to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Neil, I appreciate
Yeah.
I subbed with Liminence, with my name, with Saris13, and of course I'm already subbed to you. So that's like 4 of my channels are subbed to you.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right, Neil, I have a confession to make.
You're madly in love with me?
Confession time.
No, not that. No.
Damn it.
The only reason I was up so late was that I was waiting to get a Tesco supermarket delivery slot. Which are very hard. Yeah.
Very
You
hard
gotta wait
to
until
find at the
midnight to
moment.
get those.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Very hard to find these days.
Mhm.
But I actually got one.
Nice.
Yes.
So I was extremely happy, and then I found your stream, so I thought I'd ask you to come on.
It's perfect.
You thought you'd ask me if you could come on? Yes, I got you.
Yeah, which which I
You know,
did.
you're always going to be one of the first people I send a link. So
Well, that's very grateful, and now obviously you've kept me up for another 4 bloody hours. But never mind. No, it was a good time. Thank you so much.
thanks for joining us, Roy.
All right.
Thank you.
We're gonna get out of here. Hey, Chewy, says Lightspeed, please.
Yeah, still your channel. It's divine disbelief, by the way.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
should like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
Got TikTok.
Links are in the
Subscribe to us
original
on
interview.
YouTube,
Awesome.
and we have a TikTok now because we're hip.
Yeah.
We're hip.
And
Fuck
we're going
TikTok.
Lightspeed. Bye.
A week from now, people will be going, "What's TikTok?" Fuck that shit. Anyways, yeah, I might as well give her. I should probably go to bed. I got to get up at 4 a.m. to go to work. So.
Yeah, you should get to
no
bed
worries.
then.
Yeah. I got to go pretend to be a fucking lab chemist guy tomorrow. So.
Well, I've got to wrestle with a baby.
Right on, Jeff. Man, get in more of my streams, dude. You got to hang out.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah.
It's nice to meet
obviously
you.
Depends on the timing. Normally, it's the issue. So.
Right. A lot of times when I actually interview people from your neck of the woods, I do it earlier in the day, like on a weekend. So anytime you see it popping up, jump in, man. Because it's great having you in. I'm always chit-chatting with you on Twitter and shit like that. So
Yeah.
All right. Catnip, good to see you. Good to see the little one. She's getting kind of vocal these days, eh?
No kidding. I'm glad that we figured out that she's got more of a vocal range than just as high-pitched as humanly possible. Because there was a span of like a month where all she was doing was as high-pitched as possible. And I thought she was going to break the windows out of her house.
Sounds like my sister when she's really mad at me and throwing out records and shit at my head and trying to scalp me when I'm doing. That was back in the day. And that's the last sip of that beer, so I got to go get another beer. So anyways, guys, thanks everyone for joining us and hanging out in the chat. I hope you guys enjoyed the fun conversation that was pretty much Julie.
She's great.
She's awesome, but she tends to like steer the ship. It's like all Julie, which is hilarious because I don't have to do shit. I can just sit back and laugh and go, "Oh yeah," and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Right? But
good times. Good times.
Yeah, for
Neil.
sure. And
as always,
Jeff, you got a channel now, don't you?
Yeah. I've got God the Scummer on YouTube. I've got a small little channel, a couple hundred subs or so.
Get it up there, guys.
So help us get past 250 because I've been stuck at like 240 something for like months now. But,
okay, I have 3 other accounts I'm going to sub with now.
Yeah, no worries, mate. But yeah, I've been doing a little been doing a bit of a collaboration with Hissy from Hissy's Hideaway. We'll be going through all the Asterix books. We're having a lot of fun doing that.
That's cool.
Ooh,
that's cool. I got to see that. That'd be neat.
No, I like the sound of that one.
I just subbed with my band one. Which is Limitless. You'll see that one pop up.
I used to do Asterix at what was called O level, which is GCSE, which is the exam you take at 16 these days. And actually we had that in our French class. And translated it from what was a comic book, and you learnt comic French.
Yeah.
Rather than just normal, let's just learn French. And that was a lot of fun
doing it. And obviously we're going through the English translations, and obviously there's but obviously like Hissy's quite interested in the history of that period, so we do a little bit of a history, like what's the real history of that period, but have a lot of fun with this as well. I mean, we've done the first 3 books so far. We've got to admit, last one we did Asterix and the Goths doesn't hold up quite so well today because there's some pretty harsh digs at the Germans in there. I think let's just say this was written in the 1960s. There's probably a little post-war resentment still there a little bit.
So, definitely, yeah.
So yeah, some of it doesn't.
4 more subs.
Yeah, thank you, Neil. So I think I think it's on her channel. We're doing it on Sunday. We're doing Asterix the Gladiator. So
awesome. Let me know when that one runs because I'm going to check that out for sure.
Yeah,
Gladiator shit, I love it.
Normally about 1 p.m. our time, so it'd be in the morning sometime for you. I thought so. I'll tag you in it anyway for something than that.
Yeah, for sure. And the stuff that I can pop in on, I do. I may not type and talk in the chat, but I'm always listening in the lab and shit like that. Right? So
yeah,
I bounce around from show to show because that's pretty much all I do. Do my tests and listen to shows.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm of the opinion. I don't care if nobody watches those particular streams. I'm just enjoying the hell out of doing them with Hesse.
It's fun, right?
It's so much fun. It's like,
oh yeah, no, I totally agree. I wouldn't care if anyone wants watch these at all. I just have a great time getting together, especially right now when we can't go out and socialize. Right, this is pretty much our way to socialize right now. So
it is, yeah.
And let's fucking abuse the shit out of it. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I swear a lot like for a Canadian, but sorry. But anyways,
I see what you did there.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to take off. So until next time, like I always say at the end of these things, well, first of all, because of the times that we're in right now, remember to be safe, be well, and be kind above all. And until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of these things, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.